Also heard of some power outages now in Fairview, the northwestern part of Williamson County, right where that bow has been going through here. And you can see how it has that angle here. Nashville's right in the center of your screen, and this storm line's making its way into Nashville as we speak. I would not want to venture out in my car right now, or out to my car, or outdoors at all right now. But this will easily be past Nashville by 8 o'clock. So if you want to just let this go on by, it'd be a good idea. It may take longer further to the south, but the line is its strongest where it's bowing like that, making its way right into Nashville as we speak here. And again, where you see this little green notch right there, and that the way this whole line is bowed outward, it's the winds bending the line of storms. And the National Weather Service has extended our severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson County till 7:30, and they're talking about possibly 70-mile-per-hour winds. We're seeing 68-mile-per-hour winds just coming into the Davidson County line, as seen by the next red Doppler radar. Those shades of green are showing winds coming towards the radar. That's why the negative sign there. 66-mile-per-hour to 51 just a little further south, but right around the Fairview community, we've got some power outages already, and there are your severe thunderstorm warnings in orange. And now Davidson County is until 7:30. Now Rutherford County, Sumner County, and Williamson counties also till 7:30. Davidson and Dixon, that's the old warning that's going to be expiring at 7. It's now extended till 7:30, and we've added some other counties. I want to give you a nice wide view. People are saying, hey, you just zoomed in on Nashville. What about me? What about me? Well, you can see where you are. East of Nashville, you're still awaiting the storms, but this bow or curved shape edge is going to be riding eastward from around Columbia and the Williamson County, Davidson County line through Murfreesboro, through Wilson County, Lebanon, as well as Mount Juliet to Gallatin and Hendersonville here shortly, and making its way further on towards the east. And I want to stop this for you because I don't believe we had a storm track in there for you. We want to improvise here as we go on. I'm going to zoom down for you and give you an updated storm track on this, and we'll sort of use, again, we're going to be having to track the far northern extent of the line. And I'm going to give you a track just on this bowed part at first, then we'll give you a wider track after that. But this bowed part that's just making its way into Nashville and also along the Williamson County line, moving east at 70 miles per hour. And here are the times of arrival there. Already in Nashville at 7:03, Smyrna by 7:14. We're looking at Murfreesboro 7:30. Cottrell by 7:39. There's Smithville by 7:51. And again, we're tracking that particular little bow that you see right there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to give you a wider track for folks that are for a little bit further north and a little bit farther south there. We'll stop the actual motion for you, give you a new storm track. This is going to be including places like Robertson County and over into Sumner County, because we didn't quite get them in there one moment ago. And again, let's assume a 70-mile-per-hour movement, and there's Hendersonville at 7:17, Gallatin 7:25. Now over to Macon County and Lafayette, you're looking at about 7:37, and Buffalo Valley further to the east, getting over closer to Center Hill Lake by 7:54. So easily this will be well east of Nashville here by 8 o'clock this morning. So really, if you're getting to do your rush hour commute, you best just let this go on by. It's damaging winds, hail, heavy rain. Now, we've got the worst of it also just making its way through Williamson County. And as a matter of fact, that bow echo that I'm talking about, I'm going to pan our view up here, that is making its way right into the northwestern corner of Williamson County, not too far from the Fairview area, where we already have had reports of some power outages there. I'm going to put this red arrow to indicate that bow-shaped echo. That's making its way towards Franklin. I would like to go ahead and give you a storm track across Williamson County right now. We'll put the lightning back on because, well, we'd actually put the lightning back on. It's reduced the lightning. It has reduced itself a little bit. I hope that's a good sign of some sort of weakening, but so far we continue to have these severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Here, as we track you across places further south, DeBrill there by 8 o'clock. Nashville still got the storms coming through literally as we speak, and we could be seeing some hail associated with these storms. So far, it's not been reported to be much bigger than pea size to maybe dime size at the most. Further to the south, as we said, this storm line is sort of bending back and much slower. So Columbia, you're sort of on the northern edge of it. It's not moving as quick, and I'm going to have to sort of estimate the actual movement on there. I would say as we go south of Columbia, this is probably moving more like 50 miles per hour. Santa Fe could see this by 7:03, 7:17 for Spring Hill. There's Columbia by 7:30, Chapel Hill 7:44, Christiana at 7:53. Once again, Nashville and Davidson County, the new severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson, Rutherford, Sumner, and Williamson County is in effect until 7:30 as this goes across Davidson and Williamson counties, now making its way through Robertson and almost into Sumner counties, Hendersonville, Gallatin, Mount Juliet. You will be getting it shortly. Before we toss it back to news to give you a nice wide view, everybody can pick out where they live in relation to these storms. And really, the National Weather Service is asking folks, let this storm line go by before you go outside. Give it another 30 minutes or so. It'll be east of Nashville and east of the I-65 corridor. Back to you.
All right.
Thanks, Davis. Appreciate that.
Live look at some of the areas. This is Bridgestone Arena looking to the west, Davidson County here. This is a live look at the storms as they roll through. Look at that. Now, I want to let you know, Metro Nashville Schools, Davidson County, you are on time. Metro Nashville Schools on time. There is no delay, but we have a significant list of schools that are delayed for 2 hours. So that first camera was looking to the west.
And this is looking to the west as well, almost in the exact same direction there. That's a look from the Nissan Stadium camera, and it's looking across the city as the storm. The first wave moves through downtown Nashville right now. And again, if you're a little bit farther south in Williamson County, Davis is saying that you're going to get more of a line that comes over you at a consistent level.
Now, we mentioned some of the other school systems that are on delay. That's all listed on our website, but Clarksville, Montgomery schools, they are on a 2-hour delay, and you can see this is a live picture from that area. Earlier, we were watching this American flag in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and it was just whipping about an hour, hour and a half ago.
Right.
So the storm system this line of storms has moved through this area, and as you can see, it's a little bit calmer there in Clarksville.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When it first comes through that, when it was really kicking back about 20, 30 minutes ago, that first wave comes through, pretty intense stuff. Davis is kind of zooming in on Nashville right now and focusing on the winds, but you're looking at traffic cameras on the top there next to Dawn, and then that is the first alert unit. That is Jerry Barler on the bottom. And Jerry's going to join us on the phone. So, Jerry, tell us about the experience of driving right now.
You know, it's about like rush hour traffic. The storm has already moved through. We're here at I-40 eastbound at Charlotte Pike on the west side. As people were watching earlier, we were in Kingston Springs when it really started to hit.
Jerry, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. We have a tornado warning. I want to get to Davis as quick as possible, and then we'll come back to you. I apologize. Davis?
Yeah, right now, this purple box that you see is just showing up on the radar scope is a tornado warning. It includes Franklin right now, and right near the border and up into Brentwood in the southern parts of Davidson County. This part of the line right here where you see this purple box extending towards the north and towards the east. That's a tornado warning until 7:30. This also includes northern Rutherford County from Murfreesboro up through Laverne and Smyrna, and even the parts of Wilson County south of Lebanon right now for this one little spot here in the line. Really, that's right near Franklin right now. Now, with these lines of storms, with these strong straight line winds, we often get these types of what we call sort of spin-up tornadoes. We're going to try to pick that out for you with our scope where we look at the wind velocities. Don't stop it for you, but roughly we're looking at sort of a couplet, shall we say, of possible tornadic type rotation, and I'll circle that for you where I'm talking about it. Of course, it's right about where this tornado warning is in effect, right near the Franklin area. So if you're in Franklin, you're already in the area that has the possible tornado. I want to see if I can get we've got power outage reported in Franklin and Williamson County. So once again, power outages are being reported in Williamson County. That's not a good sign there. Of course, we've had bad straight line winds already. This storm moving east at 70 miles an hour. I'm going to give a track on just the tornadic part of the storm where I have that circle towards the east at 70 miles per hour. And this radar indicated tornado, but we are seeing power outages with it. Could be pushing through Brentwood here in the next minute. Could be over to Laverne in southeastern Davidson County here by 7:15. We could be seeing that in Smyrna in the northwestern part of Rutherford County by 7:18, and Murfreesboro itself, it will be right on the northern parts, especially of Murfreesboro, really, by around 7:23. So if you're in the northern suburbs of Murfreesboro, that rotation's making its way just across I-65, leaving Franklin, moving 70 miles per hour to the east. Las Casas by 7:29. Again, that is a tornado warning that is in effect for southeastern Davidson County. Now, we're also getting a report from the National Weather Service that the terminal Doppler radar for the airport is showing inbound velocities of 100 miles per hour. I just said that, 100 miles per hour with this storm that's moving right across Williamson County, just leaving Franklin. I'm going to zoom really close down, and of course that purple box is the tornado warning right here, where you see all this strong storm activity, generally from Brentwood right on down to Franklin. That is where there is a potential tornado on the ground, possibly on the ground at this time. We have reports of power outages in the Franklin area, and again, this purple box right here, I'll put it in motion for you again. This purple box that you see outlined right here is the tornado warning until 7:30, and this little area right here is where there's a potential tornado, roughly Brentwood down to now just east of Franklin, going across I-65. So if you're going down Highway 96, if you're just southeast of Brentwood, if you're in Nolensville, you're right in the middle of the path of this potential tornado being seen by the next red Doppler radar. We do have some power outages being reported in the Franklin-Williamson County area. Small hail also the grassland area of Williamson County. And once again, one of the radars is indicating 100 mile per hour winds with this storm. I'm going to stop the motion for you there, and once again, we're going to look at some of the velocities. As we do so, we'll try, or at least try to pick out the exact inbound and outbound winds where the potential tornado is, and you can see right about, we're going to draw with this tool here, you can see right where I'm about to draw this circle, where you have the reds and the greens coming together, and that's just east of I-65. If you're in Nolensville right now, this is generally headed in your general direction towards the Nolensville area as we speak. And I'm going to do a storm track on that. Now, with the high speed it's going, I'm going to sort of have to widen my view out on this and give you another storm track. Again, Nolensville, I just want to give you a heads up. You are literally the closest city to this. It's just crossed I-65 east of Franklin. I'm going to do a storm track. This is only on the radar-indicated tornado. When I say radar-indicated, we're also seeing some indications of 100 mile per hour winds. You see Nolensville right in the middle of the screen. I'm going to move this over with so you can see. Time of arrival in Nolensville here, literally in about 2 minutes, if not now. Everybody's watch maybe said a little different. Smyrna by 7:18, Walter Hill by 7:25, Las Casas by 7:29, and Milton by 7:34. Murfreesboro, downtown Murfreesboro, this is going to stay to your north, but the northern suburbs, if you're going up Highway 231 up towards the Wilson County line and maybe over towards Gladeville and up towards the Smyrna and Laverne areas, those areas can easily see this possible tornado. You see right where the reds and the greens are meeting, right there. That would be your potential tornado where I've circled, and that's passing just south of Nashville, making its way into Nolensville. If you're in Nolensville, you want to take cover immediately. You want to get to the lowest part of your house. You want to stay away from windows and doors, and you want to, if you got a closet you can get into, cover yourself with blankets. That's a good idea as well. Anybody that's lucky enough to have a basement with a rocky soil as well. So again, this is a tornado warning, and this is covering the eastern now parts of Williamson County, the northern parts of Rutherford County, and the southern parts of Wilson County, even southern parts of Davidson County around the Laverne area, southeastern parts of Davidson County, could be encountering a possible tornado. I want to go ahead and back our view off, let everybody pick out where they live, but we're going to come back to this tornado warning. Many times people say, hey, you're concentrating on one spot. Well, that's where the tornado warning is, and that's where the worst weather is. But we'll back things off for you and let everybody pick out where they live. And you can see that the worst of this weather is generally from around Williamson County northward, where this line is bowed out. It has moved at about 60 to 70 miles per hour from eastern Arkansas all the way to here. The rest of the line is sort of straightening out sort of west-southwest and not moving as fast and not as severe. So the worst part, this is the tornado warning right here in purple. That's until 7:30, and again, that's southern parts of Wilson County, northern parts of Rutherford County, the eastern now parts of Williamson County. It's east of Franklin and east of I-65 now, and also the southeastern corner of Davidson County, again until 7:30 a.m. this morning. Maybe we can look at some of these wind velocities once again, let everybody pick out where they live. I got to go back to the worst parts of the storm here. We'll turn off our warnings for you. You can see that now some of the worst weather is in for Davidson County is moving its way into the Hermitage community already and making its way sort of eastern Davidson County and east of the downtown area. That's how fast this situation is moving. We're going to go ahead and slow down the picture here and stop it for you, and once again take a look at some of these wind velocities, because we did have a report from the Nashville terminal Doppler radar that there were winds possibly as high as 100 miles per hour. Here are some of the winds that we're seeing from the Nashville radar right about the area where the tornado would potentially be. That's your warning there for Davidson, Rutherford, Williams, and Wilson counties. We've got reports of damage near the Cool Springs Mall, and of course that's right where the tornado warning was issued, so that would make sense. And right near the Cool Springs Mall, we've had some reports of damage. Neil just was able to give me that information. Here's some of the wind speeds being seen by the radar in a 60-mile-per-hour inbound. Now, of course, the radar is measuring what we call radial velocity towards the radar. These winds are really going from west to east, so they're sort of not going straight towards the radar. So you probably convert those over to maybe 70 to 80 miles per hour. That's Cool Springs Galleria, I should say, as far as the damage. We do have reports of damage near the near Galleria, sorry, not right at it, but near it, in that neighborhood. And once again, if we take a look at our inbound and outbound winds, I'm going to put back our regular radar here that you're used to seeing, and we're also going to go to the inbound, outbound winds on our radar scope to look in for the potential tornado. Right in the middle of that purple box, of course, that's your tornado warning. And right where you are seeing, and I'm going to go back to my line that I can show you here, right where you are seeing this red and green couplet together, that is where the potential tornado is, right in the southeastern part of Davidson County. I'd say that'd be close to Laverne. Maybe I'll widen that out a little bit more, and let's put the scope back on. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. We may zoom in a little bit closer so we can see that a little bit better. I would say maybe that this potential tornado would be right in the southeastern corner of Davidson County and the northern part of Williamson County. And again, some damage, as Neil was telling us, near the Cool Springs Galleria. We're going to put a storm track on this, assuming that it's moving east at 70 miles per hour, and I'm only tracking the tornadic part of the storm. That's where those red and green colors meet, and the red means winds going away from the radar, the green means winds going towards it, and in between you probably have winds going in a circle. Let me put this into motion for you, and you can actually watch that little couplet of red and green come together and right in where the circle is, and there your updated times of arrival for Smyrna here in another couple of minutes. Walter Hill by 7:23. Las Casas could be seeing this possible tornado by 7:27. Auburntown by 7:36, and Liberty by 7:42. And again, the tornado warning is in effect until 7:30 for the northern parts of Rutherford County, just north of the Murfreesboro area here, and more likely near Smyrna. That red and green couplet right there is making its way towards Smyrna, and sort of just the northern fringes of Nolensville, as we were showing you a moment ago, seems to have shifted a little bit further north than what we saw one moment ago, and now making its way through the southeastern part of Davidson County near Laverne, almost into northwestern Rutherford County near Smyrna, and eventually Walter Hill, Las Casas, Auburntown, and Liberty. And of course, I'm only tracking the tornadic part of the storm. Obviously, there's possibly strong damaging winds elsewhere and associated with some of the other storms. And while we're doing that, I want to see if I can get some new information here from our friends at Nash Severe Wicks. Our friend Will reports Brentwood near Old Hickory Boulevard, 65-mile-per-hour winds were reported near Old Hickory Boulevard in the Brentwood area, right near where we were talking about. Now, that's moved east of that particular spot now. I'm going to back off our view, let everybody pick out where they live in relation to the storms. Maybe we'll give a storm track on the rest of the storms. Things are beginning to change a little bit as far as the view that we're seeing of this particular storm line. Widening out the view, once again, that tornado warning is in effect for much of for southeastern parts of Davidson County. I'm going to put our auto warn back on. I'll have to turn off our clouds for you, and we're going to shorten this radar loop. You can see how long this squall line has been going and how far it went. And tornado warning for Davidson, Rutherford, Williamson, and Wilson counties continues until 7:30. So we've got about 16 more minutes of that. 7:30 for the severe thunderstorm warning also for Davidson, Rutherford, Williams, and Sumner. So outside of where I showed you that circle where the possible tornado is approaching the Smyrna area, that's where we're looking at the possibility of straight line winds, and that's hence the orange box with the severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. And we're going to go back to our regular radar scope here, and we are seeing that maybe after this tornado warning expires, we may get a little bit of a break in some of the action, but that spot where that big cluster of lightning is, that's where the potential tornado is at this time, and we have had reports of wind damage in association with this as it's pushed through and now into the southeastern corner of Davidson County. Again, I'm going to draw that circle for you for just joining us here. The tornado warning for southern and southeastern Davidson County, now the extreme northwestern eastern parts of Williamson County, and now pushing towards the Smyrna area as well as Laverne. Before we throw it back to our news partners here, we are going to give you a storm track one more time of this tornadic part of the storm. We've been seeing these storms moving east at 70 miles per hour, and there are your updated times of arrival again for the Smyrna communities there in northwestern Rutherford County. Walter Hill at 7:25, Smyrna 7:19, Lascassas at about 7:29, Auburntown by 7:39, and Cottage Home by 7:43. And again, we've got about 14 and a half more minutes of this tornado warning in effect for those areas. I'm going to toss it back to Neil and Dawn here with some updates on some of the damage.
All right, thank you, Davis. Appreciate that. Annie Cordan sent us this video in.
That's right. This is wind and hail in the Franklin area, and that was the area where Davis was just talking about, was kind of on the edge there of that tornado warning.
Listen to it a sec. So this is a common experience right now with the northern part of this line of storms. Also, we're going down to the Cool Springs Galleria area, Cool Springs area, where we have some wind damage being reported down there. Of course, we did have the tornado warning go through that very specific area, so we are on our way, and we'll get you a picture coming from the News 2 First Alert Unit right now.
Yeah,
and show
Jerry
you that.
Barler on his way there. This is what you're going to see if your commute is out to the north side, because he is heading out that way on Interstate 65.
He's up by
right
Harding
now, I
right
believe.
now, so we got a little way to go.
Yeah, you can see on the other side, by the way, the traffic and the impact this storm system has had on our morning commute already. Obviously, some slowing. A lot of people waiting, though, because many schools were delayed 2 hours because the system was going to hit right when these kiddos were hopping on the bus. And so schools were delayed, and a lot of people maybe delayed that morning commute, tried to stay away from that.
Yeah, so that's the scene on the roads right now. We'll talk about some traffic in just one moment. Metro Schools put out an important message to students and parents, though.
Yeah, Julie Edwards has this from the alert desk. Julie?
Yeah, they put this message out on Facebook just a little bit ago. They're saying they're opening on time. We knew that, but they are saying families are urged to use caution depending on where they live. So if parents choose to send their children late due to weather, the children will not be penalized with a tardy mark. So keep in mind, safety first here. If you are in bad weather, stay at home. There will not be any penalties for your kids. Obviously, Metro Schools want them to be, you parents and kids, to be as safe as possible. Neil, Dawn.
Certainly makes sense there. So Metro on time. Now the list of all the delays are on our website, but Hickman, Humphreys, Cheatham County, Clarksville, Montgomery schools, Robertson, Stewart County, and then Sumner County was a late add, but all of those schools are delayed for 2 hours this morning.
And the storm is almost out of Davidson County, so you're going to be free to move about here in the regular hectic rainy traffic in just a moment. And let's talk about that with Paige.
Yeah, we have a lot of people out on the road right now in Smyrna and Antioch, as well as on I-24. It's really, really crawling right now, and you can see it's right in the thick of it. I know Murfreesboro Pike is really, really slow as well. So definitely not a great situation with this storm having moved so fast, and a lot of people in Smyrna and Antioch already hitting the road there. But I am hearing reports of a tree down from Franklin Police on social media. This is going to be right here on Spencer Creek Road in between Saturn Parkway and Fields Stone Parkway as well. So again, Spencer Creek Road, tree down there in Franklin, right off of Mac Hatcher, right off of Hillsborough Pike as well, just to the west, guys.
Thank you, Paige. Yeah, we got reports of 65-mile-per-hour winds over there, Old Hickory and Nolensville Pike area, 85-mile-per-hour winds in some of our other areas.
And the airport radar, which is a very sensitive instrument over there, we're picking up a gust around 100, that David said. So Brent Ramadna is here in South Nashville, and I hear the sirens. Brent, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. They're going down Murfreesboro Road here. I think that's something separate here, but you can see the rain just coming down a little bit at a drizzle right now. That wind, though, is really strong right now. We did see a lot of large gusts come through here and bring a pretty heavy rain presence here just moments ago, but it has died down here. Just want to show you guys real quick. The main thing we're seeing here is ponding on the side of the roads here, that water collecting. So if you are driving into town this morning, take it slow, as Davis and Paige have been mentioning all morning. Safety first here with the rain and weather conditions here. We'll keep you updated all morning here. We'll be out on Murfreesboro Road. Neil Don, back to you.
All right, Brent Romana there live in South Nashville for us, hearing from a lot of people that tornado sirens still going off in their areas.
Yeah, and they will until right at 7:30, right, Davis? And then
unless we continue this further, we're still seeing this couplet of inbound and outbound winds. Again, the greens indicate winds that are going towards the X-ray Doppler radar in Nashville, which is to the north up near Old Hickory, and the reds going away. So in between, you've got this circulation. You're seeing two sides of that circulation there. I'm going to stop the motion for you because you can see right around Smyrna, especially the northern parts of Smyrna, is where we have this potential rotation going on right now as we speak. I'm going to circle that for you. I think those two little arrows more or less give you the story, but that would be your potential tornado right between the two arrows. And unfortunately, that is so close to much of Smyrna in a highly populated area. We'll go down there and maybe erase some of these arrows and whatnot, but you see how we've got this line that's also, even if you don't have a tornado, you see that notch right there? That's indicating the winds coming down from aloft, and they're bulging out the line of storms. They call that an inflow notch, where the wind inflows into there. And we've been seeing 65-mile-per-hour winds easily. The Turnbull Doppler radar, this is right around I-24 and Sam Ridley Parkway there. As you can see, the Sand Hill community there. That's I-24 in gray here. And you're right in the downtown Smyrna area. Maybe we could try to label a few more streets for you. But that little inflow notch right there is also dangerous. I'll also show you that potential tornado. But let's look at a few of the streets that we're talking about right here. Just in the Sand Hill community, we just added a few more streets, as you can see. Weekly Lane up here to the north. I'm going to put this into motion for you so you can, and maybe shorten this time lapse to only a few minutes. We'll only go like maybe the last 15 minutes, so it'll be a lot shorter, but you can watch it. You can see how that's already progressing. That little notch has already made its way over towards the Jefferson Springs area. I'm going to pan. That's how fast it's moving. Really getting past the Smyrna community over to 840, as you can see. Highway 840 running north-south right here. Jefferson Springs making its way down Sam Ridley Parkway, as you can see, through the Smyrna area. All that purple down to the south. That could also be indicating hail. Well, let's talk about this potential tornado, because that notch could be an inflow for that. Even if it's not for the potential tornado, it could easily be. And see the purple triangle, the purple rectangle there, or the purple polygon, that is your tornado warning in effect until 7:30 for these areas. Now let's go look for this couplet of the red next to green and put a storm track on it. Still just north of the Smyrna area, right there is where we're seeing the winds. The green trying to show the winds going towards the radar, the red's trying to show the winds going away from the radar. Right in between is where we would have our potential for a tornado. You're seeing two sides of a circulation right now, so we're just talking about the northeastern corner of the Smyrna area where this potential tornado would be, where I'm drawing this circle and the two arrows are. So what we need to do is back this off for you, and give you a storm track on this particular rotation there. Nashville, this is east and southeast of the Nashville area. I need to back off pretty far if I want to try to get a storm track going 70 miles per hour towards the east. And here's the potential and times of arrival with a 70-mile-per-hour speed. And this is only the tornadic part of the storm now. We're talking about being in the Silver Hill area by around 7:27, Canesville by 7:33, the Watertown area, if you go into southern parts of Wilson County, at about 7:39, Alexandria by 7:44, and further east, Dowelltown by around 7:48. So this is right near Smyrna, and maybe just getting past Smyrna and trying to move into the northern parts, I should say southern parts of Wilson County, and maybe the far northern part of Rutherford County. So that tornado warning remains in effect until 7:30. We'll back the view off once again so people can sort of pick out where they live, and that purple box is your tornado warning in effect. But you can see that the further you go south on this line and to the west, it's not moving as fast, and it's not as severe. All the warnings are for this northern part of the storm that's been bowed out from way back in central Arkansas all the way to here and moving into Rutherford County. That purple box is your tornado warning in effect. We'll go ahead and give you those warnings here once again because that's one important thing we want to do. We're going to continue to do more storm tracks for you, but we'll turn off the satellite once again and shorten this time lapse here. You can see how long this storm line has been going from Arkansas all the way here. But Davidson, Rutherford, Williamson, and Wilson counties have the tornado warning for the area I just showed you until 7:30. Severe thunderstorm warning for many of the same counties for also straight line winds. So I just gave you a track of that possible tornado. I would like to also give you a track of outside the tornado area. So we're going to zoom down. We're still going to stick with this northern part of the line because that's the most intense part of the line. And we're going to erase our lightning for you just briefly so we can see a little bit better and give a storm track for some of the areas that are outside of the tornadic part, because you still could have strong straight line winds and those severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect for that. So let me give you a storm track assuming that we're still going 70 miles per hour towards the east. Murfreesboro seeing this by around 7:31, Las Casas and Christiana and Woodbury and Smithville. I'm going to try to do some of the areas up in parts of Sumner County. This is getting just east of Gallatin as we speak. And by the way, we're getting new information. A spot or trees down in the Cool Springs area that Neil told us about one moment ago. Yeah, lots of trees down.
Trees down.
Well, thanks to Will at NashSevereWix.com. He gave us that report. And this is still making its way towards the east. I want to try to track for our friends in Sumner County and Wilson County because Lebanon, these storms are pushing in as we speak, and here are your times of arrival for that. I'm going to work my way down the storm line. There's Lebanon, as you can see, by around 7:29. Hartsville is going to be looking at these storms by around 7:55, I should say 7:35. Lafayette and Macon County by 7:40. There's Carthage and Smith County by 7:46, and Buffalo Valley at 7:53 as the storm line makes its way further to the east. Again, this is not the tornadic part of that storm. That's what I tracked for you a moment ago, and we'll go back to that in a moment. But I want to give everybody else a chance to see what time the storm is going to arrive for them, especially the northern part of this particular line. We'll stop the movement for you once again and go further south down the line. We just showed you the tornado warning. We're going to come right back to that in a moment, but we're going to go down to around the Almaville area and over towards Murfreesboro because this is going to make its way towards Murfreesboro in the southern extent of the line, maybe not moving quite as fast. In Murfreesboro, the tornadic part is going to be going through the northern part of Murfreesboro, really just up from downtown, but the southern part of the storm could still have some straight line damaging winds moving through Murfreesboro as well. And there are your times of arrival in the Rutherford County area. There's Mount Olive at 7:29. We're looking at Murfreesboro downtown by 7:35, Cottrell 7:45, Curley by 7:51, and Woodbury in Cannon County again by 7:53. And again, I'm tracking this northern part of the storm line because that's the most potent one. We'll widen out the view in a moment after we look at the tornado warning once more time and show you the rest of Middle Tennessee. But we need to go back to that tornado warning now. I'm sort of trying to give everybody as much heads up as I can. We've got a new tornado warning that just showed up there for southern parts of Wilson County, and I can see why too. You can actually literally see sort of a little bit of a, shall we call it a hook or a curl in this line sort of coming in like right there. And so we're going to be watching that for you closely. We're going to put our scope on that. So this is a brand new tornado warning, and this is for parts of Wilson County. And once again, you can see these greens and reds right next to one. You can see the greens going towards the radar in southern parts of Wilson County, the reds in the western parts of Wilson County, and back by the Smyrna area. So your circulation would be right in between, and of course that's right where this tornado warning is in effect for, right in this area. So we're going to track this for you now. Now, some of these areas we've already tracked for, but this is a brand new tornado warning that literally just came out moments ago while I was doing that other storm track, and that particular tornado warning, trying to get a time for you there. Apparently that's not come out here on this just yet, but we're also having more reports of trees snapped at the Lexus of Cool Springs. So the Lexus dealership there, and damage to a steel overhead door at Lexus of Cool Springs, as well as tree snaps and trees uprooted near Cool Spring Mall, as we already told you about. Let's go ahead and do this storm track on this particular storm that's making its way into the western parts of Wilson County, and the Weather Service has put a little bit more of a northeastward track on this particular one. So I'm going to track from right where I've drawn that circle where the potential tornado would be, and I'm going to track it in the direction that the Weather Service is confirming that they think it is moving. And I'm going to assume 70 miles per hour. I'm going to double check on that time of that actual movement there. Holloway by around 7:33, Watertown in Wilson County 7:41, Alexandria at 7:46, South Carthage at 7:52, and there's Buffalo Valley again by around 7:58. This is a new tornado warning, and this is going to be in effect. I'm going to confirm the time for you, but it's going to be roughly probably about 8 o'clock to maybe 8:15 at the latest here for this particular spot. This spot is right in, basically Lebanon is right here, and it looks like the worst of the storm may go through just south of Lebanon. Now, of course, if you're just down Highway 231 in the Lebanon area, you consider yourself pretty much in Lebanon nonetheless. So the southern suburbs of Lebanon, it would be where I would expect this potential tornado to be, and making its way across southern parts of Wilson County. We're going to widen the view out and let you see where things are. You see where Watertown is. This is pretty much going towards the Watertown area. So if you're in Watertown right now, you want to get in your basement if you have, we're lucky enough to have one in Middle Tennessee. Most of us don't. But if you don't have that, then you go to the lowest floor of your home. You stay away from the doors and the windows. And if you get in the middle of the house, got a closet or something, a small room that's in the middle of the house, remember the frame, that big wooden frame you see for a big room when they're building a house? It's all condensed together in a closet. It's nice and small and sturdy. So those smaller rooms is where you want to be, in the middle of the house. So that's where you want to go if you're in Watertown, because this looks like it's headed pretty much towards Watertown. Haven't had a total confirmation of a tornado on the ground yet, but we've had numerous reports of storm damage in the wake of this storm as it's passed through parts of Williamson County. As we mentioned, the Cool Springs area, the Lexus dealership getting some damage from that storm and making its way into parts of Wilson County. That's a new tornado warning. Still trying to see if I can get a update on the exact how long that warning's in effect. What we'll just end up doing is go ahead and go to our warning mode. I'm going to widen the view out first, and you can see that purple box there, and we'll take you to the warning where it'll show us exactly how long that warning is in effect. And we'll turn off once again the satellite, shorten this time lapse down to about 30 minutes. You can see how long that storm line's been hanging around. Now the new tornado warning is now for Smith and Wilson counties. The old warning has expired now, and Wilson County and now Smith County, that's why we were showing Carthage a moment ago, and South Carthage on that storm track a moment ago. You have the tornado warning in effect until 8 a.m. this morning. Severe thunderstorm warning, even outside the circulation that could be a potential tornado, where could see straight line winds in Macon, Rutherford, Sumner, and Wilson County. So we're going to go back and track that for you again here in a moment, maybe show you what some of the winds are shown from the next red Doppler radar. But we just gave you the track right through more or less the Nolensville area and making it, I should say, Watertown area in southern parts of Wilson County, making its way towards the east pretty quickly. That tornado warning in effect until 8 o'clock. And we're going to go ahead and erase that warning and go back to our regular radar scope. I promised that I would widen the view out, let everybody in Middle Tennessee, even the ones that are not under the warning, pick out where they live, put it in motion for you. And once again, you can see if you're in the southern parts of Middle Tennessee from Columbia southward, you're not getting as much action. The storm line sort of extends way back down south of I-40. There's one warning that's making its way into southwestern Tennessee. So you may still get some action south of Columbia later on this morning, but this bowed out section of the line that's caused all the wind damage from way back in Arkansas all the way into Middle Tennessee, and especially across Williamson County and also into northern parts of Rutherford and Wilson counties, that's where the worst of the storm activity is. Now, we're going to go back and look at that tornado warning one more time in just a moment, but we want to look at some of the wind velocities that are being seen by the next red Doppler radar. Now, we were telling you the wind velocities, basically the reds are the winds going away from the radar, the greens going towards the radar. Now that the storm is past the radar site, you're seeing the worst winds in these bright shades of red. And right where we're seeing this potential tornado, that's the tornado warning that includes Smith County and Wilson County until 8 o'clock. Right where you're seeing that potential tornado, we're going to be looking at winds velocities pretty high in these bright shades of red. We'll show you that right here. We're looking at 50-mile-per-hour winds right there, and we'll take a look at another one. But also, you can even see that couplet right there. What's more important right now is the little couplet of winds, 39 miles per hour, a little further to the north. And then as we get up into the northern northern part of the county, we're seeing some winds up to 63 miles per hour. But you can notice even in this velocity mode, right around Watertown, that couplet that I was telling you about a moment ago, as we go down in our velocity mode straight into the southern parts of Wilson County, and I'll pan the view out a little bit because you can use Lebanon more or less as a little bit of a reference point. Lebanon on the top part of your screen, and you see Watertown, and right where we're looking at that red and green right next to one another, of course, that's where our potential tornado would be. I'm going to circle the spot where the potential tornado would be, right where the reds and the greens are meeting together in this spot. So if you're in Watertown, it's coming straight towards you, radar indicated, but there's been a lot of damage in association with this particular storm as it's moved on towards the northeast. I promised another storm track on that for you, and we're going to assume that we're still moving 70 miles per hour towards the east-northeast as the Weather Service put out that orientation a moment ago. And as we get more towards a 70 mile per hour, I'm going to have to widen my view out further still, so let me give you just a little bit more of a back off of this so we can get 70 mile per hour speeds in here. That's how fast things are moving this morning. And this is that circle that is the potential tornado moving east-northeast, and we're going to stop you at 70 miles per hour. There are your times of arrival now, and I'll put it in motion for you. And just watch that little red couplet next to the green right there. That's where your potential tornado is. That's where the winds are going towards the radar and away from the radar. We'll resume your time lapse for you. You can watch that little red couplet sneaking into Wilson County. Times of arrival as it goes further east, Watertown by around 7:40, Alexandria by around 7:44, 7:50 for Hickman, and 7:57 for Buffalo Valley, 8:04 for Baxter. And again, that tornado warning goes in effect until 8 o'clock this morning. Now, Danielle Breezy is going to join me here momentarily and give you some more storm tracking as these storms move east. As far as the Nashville metropolitan area is concerned, we've been telling everybody all morning long that you wanted to wait till a little later to get out in your rush hour commute. Again, this tornado warning, this is possible for the Watertown area as we speak, but I'm going to erase that for you right now, and I'm going to back the view off, go back to our radar scope, regular radar scope they're used to seeing, and you can see right around the Watertown area where that potential tornado is, and that purple box is the tornado warning. Now, if you're in Nashville, the Nashville metropolitan area, things have considerably lightened up. We've still got some rain, as you can see, but right in downtown Nashville, if you want to try to head to work now, you're going to drive in some wet streets, and you may want to watch out for some tree limbs that may have fallen and other debris that may be in the roadway, and especially in Williamson County, where this tornado warning first popped, we had numerous reports of trees and maybe some power lines down as well. You may want to watch out for that. But as far as these damaging winds are concerned, they're now running from Macon County just about to Lafayette, down through Trousdale County near Hartsville. Now they're in the Lebanon area and just moving east of Lebanon in the northern suburbs of Murfreesboro. And again, that tornado warning, that's in effect right now for parts of Wilson County, where the worst part of the storm is. And I'm going to go ahead and give a storm track for other parts. We're going to go back to that tornado warning. We don't want to forget that. But many people want to say, well, what about me? I want to hear what's going to happen to me. And we're going to stick with the northern part of this line because that's where the worst weather is. That's where those warnings are, as you can see. Obviously, we're looking at warnings in orange for severe thunderstorm warnings. The purple is the tornado warning. We'll go ahead and give a track starting up just west of Macon County and west of Lafayette. And this is moving into Murfreesboro as we speak. And the 70 mile per hour speed, it's already in the Murfreesboro area. And there are your times of arrival for Lafayette there in Macon County by 7:40. I'll put things back into motion for you. Camden County, the Woodbury area by around 7:46. Smithville, as we head further east at about 5 minutes till 8. Gainsboro over in Jackson County, that's going to be until 8 o'clock, in DeBrill by 8:03. But again, this purple spot right here, we need to concentrate on that. That is our potential tornado, where we have a tornado warning in effect until 8 o'clock. And we're going to go back down to that because we've given everybody a heads up for some of the straight line winds. We want to go back down to the potential tornado that's making its way across the, looks like the northern parts, east of Nashville, I should say. Let me get this moving again. The eastern parts of Wilson County and the northern parts of Rutherford County. But the purple box is where the tornado warning is in effect. And if you're around Watertown, you need to be in your safe place. Of course, that means your lowest part of your home. If you happen to have a basement, you're lucky because our rocky soil, most people don't. But you get to an interior closet or a hallway and away from windows and doors, and you can protect yourself in one of the closets, maybe with some blankets or whatnot. Again, we're looking for that couplet of green and red right next to one another. It's still defined there if you look closely The green's going towards the radar, the red's away. Not quite as strong looking right there, but it is making its way towards the Watertown community. And once again, I'd like to do one more storm track on that for you as that makes its way east at about 70 miles per hour. I'm going to assume 70 mile per hour speeds. Danielle, if you see a difference in the speed, let me know, because I haven't had a chance to go over there and look. But there you do times of arrival, updated times of arrival. There's Watertown by around 7:43. And we're also looking at Alexandria by 7:48, Gordonsville 7:55, Buffalo Valley 8 o'clock, and Baxter by 8:07. And Watertown, you are the one that's in the most potential for seeing this possible tornado. Again, you can watch this little area bright green followed by the reds there. The Nashville radar's up here. The greens mean winds going towards the radar. The reds mean going away from the radar. You got a circle in between. That is your potential tornado making its way into the Watertown area and the southeastern corner of Wilson County. And that's going to be making its way into parts of Smith County as well. You can see Alexandria, Gordonsville, Buffalo Valley, and Baxter, of course, are indicated in that particular storm line. Danielle, are you mic'd up yet?
Yeah, I am mic'd up. I don't
Okay. Let's, if y'all can take Danielle's voice here. She's got to show some stuff on Max 2, I believe.
Yes, I am here. Okay, so here we go. Here's what's happening right now. I just want to let you know, we're getting some reports in here, and one of the things we're noticing and hearing about is there's a report just northwest of Belmead as this storm went through there of some trees and power lines down, along with a car possibly being flipped. This is around 7:05, so this storm obviously does have strong enough winds to potentially flip a car. There's another report coming in. A part of a roof fell into a parking lot near Starbucks. This is in Cool Springs area, so we're getting reports of some damage in the Cool Springs area, another one. And then this coming in, too, there's reports of trees that fell in or fell near, the Vanderbilt football stadium and landed on 2 vehicles. So definitely this storm does have with it some very strong winds. Does still have a tornado warning on in some locations. And we're also watching the potential for some severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, I do want to show you what's going on right now. This is Weather 1. If we can go over to Weather 2, because I do have a show set up for you folks there, and do want to show you what is going on. Essentially, this is Weather 1 Max 2, please, if we can put that on there so I can show you what is going on. But right now you see a very long line of showers and thunderstorms moving in. Here we go. I do want to show you where that tornado warning is and zoom into things, but first I want to talk about the fact that this is already producing a lot of damage here in and around Nashville, in and around Franklin as well. We're seeing some damage, some wind reports being thought about. This one coming in Davidson County, I just talked about that, the potential for some power lines on the road. So obviously some strong winds with this, a lot of lightning. This rolled through my neighborhood and it sounded really loud as it came through. Now that tornado warning though for Smith and Wilson County, and that is moving, near the edge of Wilson County till about 8 o'clock in the morning here. I do want to show you we still have severe thunderstorm warnings though out for Macon, Rutherford, Sumner, and Wilson counties, and we don't want to forget you folks over in Kentucky too. You're under severe thunderstorm warnings too for just about a couple more minutes, but I'm sure that's going to be extended. Do want to show you this rotation right here. This is the cell. It is right over Watertown. Did put a storm tracker on this, although this is probably a couple minutes old now. So the idea is it will be near Gordonsville at about 7:51. Buffalo Valley, it'll be there at about 8 o'clock, 8:06 in Boma. I think I said that right. And then we also have to show you the velocity product. Davis has been doing a great job this morning showing you where that rotation is, but you can tell where the greens and reds are linking up. Green is the wind going to the radar. Red is the wind going away from the radar, and where you're seeing them kind of come together, which is really right over the Watertown area at this point. This is where we're going to watch really carefully. This rotation, again, headed towards the east, so if there were a possible tornado, it would be right in this location. Again, does have with it strong winds, so you have to take your tornado precautions. If you live in this area, Watertown, you should be doing them. Alexandria, you're going to be up next, and look, this tornado warning looks like it keeps getting extended farther out. So do want to show you that real quick, and that's actually old, so let me go back here for a second and go back a little bit here because I do want to expand out and show you what's going on currently. As we look at our storm tracker radar, we do have that tornado warning in effect. We do have a bunch of damage reports coming in. We're going to continue to keep you posted on all those. But here is that tornado warning right now, and you can see it here. I know it's covering a little bit, but it is for Smith and Wilson counties until 8 o'clock, and that severe thunderstorm warning also there.
Yeah, Danielle, they're saying now on the National Weather Service is saying that it's really tightened up the gate-to-gate winds that red next to the green, right around the Watertown area and moving just past Watertown right now.
Yep.
So they're probably going to extend that warning a little bit further now, and they say it's going over towards Smith County. Yeah, you can see very well on your scan that you just brought
right in here, yep, right
very
in here.
Very bright green and red. Go ahead.
Yep, I was going to say right in here. You can see it's right over the Watertown area, folks. So folks in Watertown, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. What's up next is Alexandria. I want to actually zoom in a little bit tighter, see if we can see anything around here. I'm going to take it out of the show view and just kind of show you what's going on. But essentially, here's the area of concern, this rotation right here. So zooming down to a little bit more street level to tell you where this would be. Okay, it's right in here. So it's just south of Cherry Valley, excuse me. So coming close to Statesville Road, Old Statesville Road, Patton Hollow Road. If I'm saying any areas near you, it's not far south of 70. So if I'm saying your area around here, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. That means going down to the lowest level, center of the room, a room with no windows, of course. So we're talking about maybe a bathroom, of course, maybe a closet. Surround yourself with as many outside walls. If you have a basement, best place to be. A storm shelter, best place to be. Of course, protect your head and neck because this does have some pretty significant rotation right in here, moving towards really right over the Wright Road area, Statesville Road area, just south of 70, Cherry Valley. You're just south of you. You might even be feeling some of this rotation. It's right in that area. Another border road is Rocky Branch Road here, and all of this is moving to the east, and it's moving pretty quickly, I believe, racing kind of at a speed of at least 50 miles an hour. So, you know, as Davis did mention, that tornado warning has been extended out, I think, a little bit farther, at least with this, to include, well, it looks like it must be going east-northeast because it's now included in the areas of, say, Commerce, Sykes, if I'm saying your town names. This would be moving towards 53, moving towards, you know, essentially 70's West Main Street. So we're talking about, you know, a bigger road, and then even could be going close to Interstate 40. So we're not, you know, that far off with this rotation right here that we're talking about.
Okay. Well, we're going to do a track on that for you here. We're going to put it into motion for you, and you can see how fast this has actually moved. We see the rotation already making its way further to the east. I'm going to try another velocity mode here, if I could, to see whether it shows up better in a different type of velocity, and I think the other one shows it a little bit better. Getting over towards Alexandria, that was quite a big jump all of a sudden that it took there, but we are seeing the reds going away from the Nashville radar, and the greens going towards the Nashville radar. I'm going to circle that for you once again. See Alexandria, you've got winds going towards the radar and just east of Watertown. So probably right here along Highway 70 south. I think that's 70 south, not the 70 that goes through Lebanon, but 70 south. That's where your potential tornado would be. And this is getting close to Alexandria. So if you're in Alexandria, this thing is moving fast. It's about to go over Alexandria and Highway 53, as you can see, and that's where the reds and the greens meet. That's where you're seeing the potential for the possible tornado. I'm going to go down there, as Danielle was doing a moment ago. Look at some of these streets here. You can see, as she mentioned, West Main Street, and that's Highway 70, as you can see, going down through Alexandria there. I guess that is, I apologize, Highway 70 there. And also, you can see Hearn Hill Road, and Alexandria itself is in the path of this particular tornado. You see West Potter Road over on the top right part of your screen there, and that's where the tornado is potentially headed, right along the pretty much the county line. As you can see, there's West Potter Road here. Here's the county line here. And again, we're right here in downtown Alexandria, the potential for a tornado making its way towards the east. And I promised I'd do a storm track on that for you, but I wanted to zoom in and show you exactly where it was first, but we'll widen the view out and do a storm track for us. And I'm going to, again, assume a 70-mile-per-hour speed. I haven't heard otherwise, so we'll stick with that. And this has been quite a fast mover, and you can see it's really on the county line with Wilson and Smith counties as we speak. And again, I'm just tracking the tornadic part of this storm, and I think the Weather Service has it going a little more northeast, so I'm going to follow their lead. They are absolutely incredible with their next red Doppler radar. Alexandria, pretty much as we speak, the storm should be pushing in. I'll go ahead and loop it for you. You can watch that little red-green couplet pushing into Alexandria there and making its way east-northeast. Gordonsville, 756, Chestnut Mound by 801, Nameless by 807, and Mount Union there by 816. And again, this tornado warning goes on through the Alexandria area over to near Gordonsville as you go over towards Smith County. If you're in Wilson County, this has pretty much moved just across the county line into Smith County and making its way generally east, maybe east-northeast into Smith County. So it's places like Smith County. Now, Smithville, down further to the south, it looks like this is passing to your north. So if you're in the Smithville area of DeKalb County, this is going to stay to your north. However, Cookeville, down the road now in Putnam County, could very well be in the path of it here. We got an east-northeast movement, but you can also follow that couplet sort of going about like that there. So if you're in Cookeville, it's possible that you could, if it wants to hold together, eventually see a tornado warning for you as well. But at this time, right now, that tornado warning remains for Wilson as well as Smith counties. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is go back to the, we'll erase this and go back to look at the actual warnings and what times they are all for, and we'll widen our view back out again. Danielle, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we just got a new tornado warning in, so I want to make sure we're telling people the very latest. We now have a tornado warning, too, in effect for Clay and Macon counties. This is in Tennessee still until 8:15 here, and I do want to show you some of this. We're also just getting more reports coming in from that cell that just you were just talking about, actually, David.
Yeah,
and that one, that cell that moved through Cool Springs also has a lot of building debris near the Costco down there, so if you live near there, you know that. So here we go. The circulation's tightening up around Macon and Clay County. So if you don't mind switching over to Weather 2 real quick, or Max 2, I'm going to show you a breakdown of that tornado warning and let you know what's going on here. Okay, so here we go. This one, again, for Clay, Macon counties, this is until 8:15. They're watching that circulation with this storm. Very heavy rain, lots of lightning, some hail. You can see it's really starting to jump up or intensify this cell, and that's why the tornado warning has now been put out for this cell here. So let me show you right now where that rotation is going to be. It's really just east of Lafayette, okay, folks? East of Lafayette, so you folks get about to be in the clear here, but I'd still be taking your tornado precautions. Going towards Gallon, I hope I said that right. Red Boiling Springs, Walnut Shade, Bug Tussle, this area here. I know I'm saying a lot of different cities and towns, but I want to make sure you know this area, it's right in here. You can see where the green is going to the radar. That is the wind, that is. Red going away, and when you see them kind of linking up like that, we're starting to see that rotation kind of pull in just a little bit more and a little bit tighter. So do want to zoom you down. Here is that rotation just really south and east of Williams, coming towards the Coleytown Road area, Gallon Road area. This is moving towards Gallon, again, because it is moving really east-northeast, and they're racing pretty quickly. So, folks, you need to be taking your tornado precautions in Gallon. We're also talking about Sunrise here, Sycamore Valley. That's another area that is also in the path of this storm. Right now, again, this is Doppler indicated. We haven't got any confirmation of any tornado being on the ground. But, you know, with all that rain, with some hail with this, it's going to be very hard to see if there were a tornado, if there was going to be a tornado on the ground here. So we just want to let you know that if you live in this area here, just east of Lafayette, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. This, again, is moving to the east-northeast pretty quickly. So Sunrise, you're another area in the path of this storm. I'm going to actually do a little. Ooh, okay, go ahead, David.
We're extending it to Putnam County. Tell you what, just go to Max 1 if you could there in our director's booth there. And this new purple box you see, right, Buffalo Valley's right in the middle of it. We've been explaining to you many a time, the red right next to the green simply means the inbound winds right next to the outbound winds. That's where your potential tornado is. And you can see right along the DeKalb County line with Smith County. And that's where it is, right on the county line, making its way towards Buffalo Valley and right across Interstate 40, really. People driving down east down 40 through the Buffalo Valley area to over towards Center Hill Dam. Right now you have a potential circulation right at the county line here, just about to cross into the Buffalo Valley area. And that new purple box now extends almost to Cookeville. We mentioned a moment ago that Putnam County may end up in this tornado warning eventually, and sure enough, the rotation is persistent enough to where the National Weather Service has extended a new tornado warning out further to the east, down I-40 through Buffalo Valley, and all the way into western parts of Putnam County, as you can see. And it looks like it's centered really right on the Buffalo Valley area, right near the DeKalb County line. Northern DeKalb County, you're in this warning, as well as the far southeastern corner there, I should say, southeastern southern part of Smith County, and then headed over into Putnam County, Buffalo Valley being right near the county line. Here's Cookeville in the other part of your screen, so maybe we'll do a storm track for you on that, and we'll sort of stop the view here for a second, or at least stop the motion for you. And again, where you see the red right next to the green, as we've explained many a time, and I think most people have become educated that the Doppler radar is what helps you discern whether there's a tornado or not by being able to see the inbound winds right next to the outbound winds. And again, these winds that are in the greens are towards the radar, reds away from the radar, your potential tornado approaching Buffalo Valley as we speak. So we're going to put a storm track on that for you. I'm hoping I may have to widen the view out just a tad to get a 70-mile-per-hour speed in there for you. And let's see if this is wide enough. And we'll take it from right in the center of that circle and parallel the tornado polygon that the National Weather Service has issued. You can see they did flatten it out a little bit more east than east-northeast that they had earlier. And there are your times of arrival. If it wants to hold together, Cookeville itself is not in the warning yet, but if it wants to hold together long enough, that could end up in the Cookeville area. I'll put this over a little bit right above the box there and loop this for you. And on the left part of your screen, you're going to watch that red and green couplet enter into our storm track from the west. You see it go right across the county line from DeKalb County and the southern part of Smith County. And it's paralleling the line right not just south of Gordonsville and making its way towards Buffalo Valley. If you're in the Buffalo Valley area along I-40, you want to get in your safe place, as Danielle mentioned. You want to get in your lower part of your house, basement if you're lucky enough to have one, interior hallways and closets away from windows and doors as far towards the middle of the house as you can possibly be. Going right down I-40, there's Buffalo Valley by 802, Baxter by 809. If it wants to hang together long enough, and the warnings issued further, it would include Cookeville by 816. Right now, Cookeville's not included, but it is in the path of at least the direction the storm is moving right now. And again, we're just tracking you the tornadic part of the storm. There's other parts of the storm that could also have some straight line winds, and we'll show you some of those in a moment. There's Brotherton by around 823 if it wants to hold together that long. Here's Sparta down here on the bottom of your screen, Sparta in White County. This is going to be passing to your north. So once again, this is a tornado warning that looks like it's for the extreme northern parts of DeKalb County, the southern parts of Smith County, as you can see, making their way over into Putnam County as just the western parts of Putnam County, not quite including Cookeville just yet, but very well could in the near future. Danielle, do you have, if we can get ready, let's go to Max 2 with Danielle.
Yeah, let's go over to Max 2 because we want to talk about the other tornado warning because you're doing such a good job with that one, but we don't want to leave our folks behind just to the north of that because still that tornado warning is in effect up to the north here for, again, Clay and Macon counties. This is until 8:15 here. This one is moving really to the east at about 50 miles an hour. We were watching the circulation getting a little bit stronger with this one. It is Doppler indicated at this point, but do want to show you that we do have with it some very, very heavy rain, lots of lightning jumping up here on this side, so some intensification going on in this storm as it heads closer even to the Tompkinsville area and Red Boiling Springs. Now, I did put a storm tracker on this one as it does race. It'll be near Moss at about 8:13. If you see your town name on this, you see the timing, you need to be preparing right now and taking your tornado precautions, which means going down to the lowest level of your home, a room with no windows, put as many walls between you and the outside world, and make sure you're protecting yourself with blankets or pillows. Protect your head and neck with this because if, you know, there is a tornado, there's going to be debris with this for sure. We haven't had any reports yet, but we're getting a lot of damage reports from some of the cells down to the south. A lot of wind reports coming in, so very strong winds. Even if there's not a tornado, straight line winds can do just as much damage, so we need to prepare for this. Now, here is where I would say the rotation is now. You can kind of see this moving towards actually the Bug Tussle area, moving towards Walnut Shade. It's really east now of Gallon here, moving towards Red Bowling Springs, and I did zoom in. It's right over Sunrise. Right over Sunrise there. So folks, if you live there, even Enon, I don't know if I said that right, but these two areas right here do show a little bit of rotation here with some greens and reds working their way into the radar. So this would be headed towards the Parkhurst Road area, Winkler's Crossroads, Walnut Shade, you'd be up next for this. Just saying some names here. It's kind of hard to read some of these, but Chicken Branch Road, it's moving towards 63 actually here. So again, folks, if you live in this area, this is becoming a very serious situation right now. It is tornado warned. It's tornado warned until 8:15, so we have just over 15 minutes to go with this one. No reports yet of anything confirmed, but we are watching that one really carefully. Are we getting any reports in here?
We're reading up some new ones there. Smith County storm will be entering western Putnam County, as we were saying. It's already pushing towards that way. Now a severe thunderstorm warning for Cannon, Clay, DeKalb. That's continued or issued for Cannon, Clay, DeKalb, Jackson, Macon, Smith, Overton, Putnam, Trousdale, White, and Wilson till 8:30. So that's not just the tornado. That's the
actual severe thunderstorm warning.
Severe thunderstorm warnings. And we go back to Max 1 briefly. Basically, this tornado warning. I'm trying to draw the circle right where you're seeing that red next to the green. And I was wanting to check one thing out. We always try to use the latest technology if we can And that wind analysis, I want to change it over to one other thing and trying to look for debris. It doesn't look really blatantly obvious. So we're seeing debris, a couple of these little areas of bluish yellow just west of Buffalo Valley. That could be some debris, but luckily that doesn't look blatantly obvious. That's something we wanted to look for, though, occasionally as we track these storms. We'll go back to that velocity mode here in a moment, but you can see those red next to the green, and we'll loop it for you here. It looks like maybe the Weather Service will let us know on that one, but just north of Smithville, this is sort of new. I'm just sort of noticing this right down here. This is south of the tornado warning. Tornado warning's right here up around Buffalo Valley. And maybe, Danielle, we could ask him on chat about, is there a new couplet forming
right
north of Smithville here?
Yep, I see that, what you're talking about right there.
The red going that way and the green going this way. That's possibly another formation in this same storm line south of the one that's north of it. I know the National Weather Service is looking at this stuff even more intensely than we are, because they pretty much run this radar, and we get the opportunity to show you on TV the output of it and let you see these things. And again, that where Danielle is circled in red, that's another potential rotation that may be developing. You know, we don't have a warning on that yet, but I'm sure it's something that the Weather Service is looking at right now, a little bit further to the north along I-40 and pushing up through the Buffalo Valley area. That's the other one where you see the red and the green right there. That's the other possible rotation, the one that's actually warned, that's just about to go into Putnam County. Cookville's a little further to the west. This here's Buffalo Valley, right along I-40. So if you're in Buffalo Valley, you want to be in your safe spot, that's for sure. And that may make its way over towards eventually Baxter. And if it wants to hold together, we could see that get closer to Cookville. But we don't have a warning that extends as far east in Putnam County as Cookville right now. But that's the latest that we're seeing on this right now. And maybe we'll try to do a storm track. Danielle, you've got some more stuff on Max 2 about the warnings, because we're not just talking about tornadoes, because there are other parts of these storm lines that Danielle's going to show us here in a moment that could still have damaging straight line winds with severe thunderstorm warnings. These are the tornado warnings, and we'll come back to those in a moment. But let's go to Max 2 and let Danielle show you that.
Yes, okay, so here we go. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings out for a lot of areas. You see this. The purple boxes are the tornado warnings, which we've been talking about all morning long. But now we have this orange box here that was just now issued for this area here, so I do want to show you this. This is for DeKalb, Macon, Putnam, and White counties. This is until 8:30. What we're experiencing in this big box now is the potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds. That can do a lot of damage too, folks. So in this area right in here, it's a big encompassing area now. We're talking about some pretty strong winds coming through some of these lines of storms as they roll through your area, and they're rolling very fast, just so you know. They are moving really east-northeast and moving at a very good clip at about 50 miles an hour. Do have hail being reported too, up to about an inch, so we don't want to forget about the hail. Very strong wind gusts, lots of lightning, very heavy rains. Do want to take you to one of those tornado warnings. Davis was just breaking down the other one, so I figure I'd come back up to you folks for Clay and Macon County, because they are keeping with this storm. I'm keeping it tornado warned until 8:15 here. You can see this one. We have a couple areas of rotation we're watching within this one. Storm Tracker's a little old on that, so we'll get in, and I'm going to actually step off screen real quick and move this over so I can show you where the rotation is and circle it for you so you can see this here, and I'll step back on screen. So essentially this, there's two areas we're going to watch here. I just want to look at it real quick and kind of analyze it with you. It looks like there's a few areas that could be, you know, of concern. It doesn't look as tightly bound as before, but it does look like this area right here. Let me circle this for you, right over the Walnut Shade area. That's one area I'd be watching right here. I know my circling is not the best. I'm not the best artist, but here's the idea. Right in this area here, there would be some rotation. This would be headed towards Cherry Crossroads, Miles Crossroads. If you live in this area, if I'm talking about this, you need to be taking your tornado precautions now, because even though we don't know if there's a tornado on the ground, you need to pretend like there is one. You're not going to be able to see it with the very heavy rain. And, of course, with some hail ahead of it, it doesn't look like you would be able to see it. Another area of rotation I'm going to watch out for and look at this. It does look like they're now they're continuing, excuse me, the severe thunderstorm warning now for Adair, Casey, Clinton. These are all in Kentucky. Also continuing, they canceled, excuse me, the severe thunderstorm warning for Allen and Barron. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But first, I just want to show you this other area that I was watching up here that looks a little bit ominous. So I'll just go in and let me look at it on regular radar first and see. A little bit, doesn't look too bad on this, but we'll be looking at the Union Hill, Denton Crossroads area. That's another area of concern. But basically, this one that's moving really towards Cherry Crossroads, it would be moving over the border into Kentucky. and moving towards the Tompkinsville Highway. That's another area of concern. So I know I zoomed in tight. I just want to give you a heads up, clear view. And I do want to let you know that there are still storms from this. Now, not, the severe storms are mainly east at this point, and the tornado-warned storms are mainly east. But do want to show you that there's still a line for you folks, so it's still going to be a very noisy morning for you south towards the Murfreesboro area, towards Columbia, down towards even Lobelville, to even Waynesboro there. You see there's lots of lightning with this storm, very heavy rains. We're going to have some strong winds with this, and it's very fast moving. That's the good news. So it shouldn't lead to much in the way of flooding, but does have those winds, and those winds are very intense, and that's why we do have 2 tornado warnings still at this hour, I believe.
Yeah, if you want to go back to Max 1, I'll show you those tornado warnings real quick. We've got them outlined for you. Again, Clay and Macon County, the most recent, until 8:15. Now, DeKalb, Putnam, and Smith counties until 8:15 as well. And I'm going to step out the way and change my view here and show you that we also have quite a big bow going on. And bows, we've been talking about that a lot. When the line is bent like this, whether you have a tornado or not, it means you've got very strong straight line winds. The winds are coming in from behind the line, being tapped down from the jet stream by the downdrafts of the storm, and they actually bend the line of storms out. It's still doing that. It's been doing that since way back in Arkansas all the way to here, and we're also seeing tornadoes, as they often see on the leading edge of these. You get these spin-up tornadoes with these strong winds, but I would say pushing towards right across the county line between Smith County and Putnam County, some very strong winds, and also there looks to be like maybe just to the north of Smithville. That's a little further south than what we were seeing before now, that you could probably have some strong straight line winds there as well. Maybe I can take a look at a few of those wind velocities for you. If I can go to our velocity mode here, and we'll quickly label. Again, when the winds are going away from the radar, they're going to be in red. The ones going towards the radar are going to be in green. And this particular area that I was just talking about a moment ago, pushing towards Smithville. Now, you're getting up high in the clouds here when you look away. Now, this isn't where the tornado warning is. That's where the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. Let me show you what some of those winds and those deeper shades of red are trying to indicate, even some of these shades of purple around Buffalo Valley. Showing 79-mile-per-hour winds up that way and 78 around the Smithville area. Now, again, the radar scope you see in the top left part of your screen, it's going up at a half-degree elevation. By the time you get over there, you're maybe 1,500 to 2,000 feet up in the air. But the reason that's still important is because, as we mentioned a moment ago, those winds are tapped down by the downdrafts of the thunderstorm, and that's why it's making that big notch that you're seeing right there just south of Buffalo Valley. I put that arrow there. Again, those winds tap down, and they produce that bow, and that can be strong straight-line winds, along with a possible tornado headed through the Buffalo Valley area. Once again, if you're in Nashville, a lot of folks have been delaying their rush hour commute this morning because they were worried about these storms. I was on the air saying, please let these go by. If you're in Nashville, we still are getting wet, but the severe weather threat has shifted eastward over towards the northeastern part of Middle Tennessee. We'll zoom back down on that in a moment. But back here in the I-65 corridor, we've got rain. We may have some lightning and thunder. It might be a nuisance trying to drive, and you want to watch out for debris, especially in Williamson County, around the Cool Springs area, but even around Madison, Inglewood, certain parts of Nashville. Got some tree limbs down, some power lines down, debris on some of the roadways, and we're going to be taking a look at some pictures of that here momentarily. But extending back down towards Waynesboro and Savannah, some more storms that will eventually get the rest of our southern counties wet as time goes on. We'll monitor those for severe, but they're not right now. It's this northeastern corner that looks severe right now. I was going to ask our director, which way do you want us to go with this right now? Go ahead, Weston, and you tell us what you'd like us to do. We're going to go to Dawn. She's got some video. Dawn?
Yeah, we've just been talking about this damage and this storm that came through. This is from one of our viewers, and this is the storm as it moved through the Cool Springs area. We're seeing significant damage in that area from these storms. Kara Bragg, one of our viewers, sent in this video. You can see some of the heavy rain there, whatever. If you do have pics, you have video, send it to pix@WKRN.com. Williamson-Davidson County, from when this system rolled through, significant amount of damage there. We're seeing trees down, power outages, significant damage in the Cool Springs Galleria area. Right across the street from the Galleria area is where we're seeing the heaviest damage. A bank in Franklin A lot of damage around that area. Hail damage, down power lines. I want to let you know about the power outages that we have right now in the area. NES is reporting that almost 2,000 people are without power at this point. This video, by the way, was sent in by Brandon Green, one of our viewers. Let's go check in with Jerry. Jerry Barler has been out, surveying storm damage, and we're going to go ahead and drop this banner here so we can see it. But this is Crockett Springs Trail in the Brentwood area over there near Concord Road. If you're familiar with that area on the south side of town. And this is a shot from Jerry Barler, so this is a live look. Jerry, that is a very old, very strong tree with a pretty strong root system that is just uprooted.
Absolutely, Dawn. And we talked with the lady who was inside the home. She was in there with her kids, and she said they had been watching the news and had seen the severe thunderstorm warnings. And she said she hadn't gone to the basement just because it was a severe thunderstorm, but it just shows you how quickly these things can erupt into either straight-line winds or a tornado. She doesn't know what it was, but she said once she heard it starting to hit the house, she immediately grabbed her kids. I believe she said there was about 6 kids there with her, and just grabbed them and started going to the basement. She said it was the scariest 5 to 10 seconds of their lives, and she said by the time they actually got into the basement, the storm had already passed, and so she came out and started to survey the damage. You see one of the kids there running around the yard taking a look themselves. She said they imagined that they had probably lost 50 trees. They actually own 5 acres right here at the corner of Crockett Springs and Concord Road. There were several trees that had fallen onto Concord Road from their property. Several, they said, across the bike trails. Their playground had been destroyed by the trees. And she said she actually lost a historic tree that had been here for more than 100 years that had actually broken and fallen too. So she said, fortunately, no one injured. They had just repaired the roof from a storm that came through last year, a small storm that came through during the summer. Just got everything back to normal. And it does appear they're going to have pretty substantial roof damage from this tree that's fallen on the house. But she said, you know what? We're all okay. We've done it before. We'll do it again. We're going to be okay.
All right, yeah, you hate to hear about that tree, that historic tree, but good news here, nobody was injured. Luckily, we had a little bit of warning about this system coming in, and Davis was on air warning everybody that this was coming and this was going to hit that area. So want to remind everybody, too, with the powerful winds that we had roll through this area, there are a lot of down power lines out there, a lot of trees that have taken down power lines. Stay away from those areas because you just don't know what is still live. Obviously, people out there surveying damage to their properties here in the Brentwood area. In the Cool Springs Galleria area, we saw a lot of damage as well. We'll continue to show you some of the damage in our area. If you have some, PIX@WKRN.com. Want to check in with Danielle, though. You're still tracking this system.
Yeah, we're still tracking that system. Exactly, Dawn. I do want to show you right now, though, you know, we've been talking about damage. A lot of damage reports coming in just south in Williamson County, also in Wilson County now. We did have a report coming in about a school, and I do want to talk about that there is a few trees down near Lakeview Elementary at Vanderbilt Road. This is in Wilson County, Green Hill area, just so you folks know. And there is apparently a new warning here, so let me go into it real quick.
They've extended, Daniel, they've extended that warning into Cookeville area. We were talking about that a moment ago.
Yep.
And they've now made that extended into the Cookeville area. And you can see easily when we go to, if you go to Max 1 just briefly, and I'm going to hand it back off to Danielle here shortly. But just because I was looking at this, I went to the go to the velocity mode here. You see that couplet there once again? That's the possible tornado. We've been tracking that, and we said that if it wants to hold together, which it is there, already east of Buffalo Valley, that couplet of green and red, now making its way towards Cookeville. So if you're in Cookeville, you got a heads up here. This is coming your way, Tennessee Tech. You should be standing the alert there across the campus that you could possibly have a tornado pushing your way. Danielle, have you seen any difference in movement in 70 miles an hour by any chance?
I'm looking at it now. It looks like it still says 70 miles.
All right, I'm going to track this at 70 miles an hour if I'm far enough out to get it. Yeah, I am. And there are your times of arrival. Cookeville there by 8:19. So if you're in Cookeville, again, 8:19, you could have this storm with a possible tornado. Baxter 8:13. Monterey, as you go up into the far eastern sections of Putnam County, climbing up on the plateau. That's right here. You could be seeing the storm by 8:30, Lovejoy 8:36, and Cliff Springs by 8:37. But here's Cookeville right here, Tennessee Tech. Baxter, you've got this possible tornado moving into the Baxter community as we speak. So if you're in Baxter, you need to already be in your safe place. If you're in Cookeville, you want to contemplate that as well. This storm's had quite a history. It's the same part of the storm that went through Williamson County, parts of Wilson County, caused a lot of wind damage and possible tornado. We'll get that confirmed later, but again, we've had enough wind to cause the same damage, whether it's a tornado or not. So once again, this new tornado warning has been extended to Cookeville for the rest of Putnam County. What's the time on that, Danielle?
It's till 8:45. Just want to let you know, too, we're getting a report in from Smyrna Airport. They said that they had a tower evacuation at 7:13 for 80-mile-per-hour winds.
Wow.
So that's that same storm we're talking about that's now in this area.
Yeah, and similar storm that's making its way towards Cookeville. So again, Tennessee Tech, Cookeville, the city, and Putnam County, you want to take your preparations for the potential of a tornado. And even if you don't have a tornado, we could very well have some very, very strong straight-line winds with this storm. There's the Cookeville region right there, and thought I'd maybe just go for go and look at some of those winds. And again, the radar scope's getting a little higher up in the atmosphere now when you get this far away from the radar scope, but that warning is until 8:45, like Danielle said. I'm going to turn that warning off, and then you can see as I look at some of these deep purples that are headed right down I-40 towards Cookeville, trying to show some wind velocities that may be as high as 79 miles an hour. Like I said, the radar scope is looking up into the clouds probably a couple of 3,000 feet at this point, but these type of winds in these bow echoes get tapped back down to the surface. So in Cookeville, whether you have a tornado or not that pushes in, or whether a tornado touches down or not, really doesn't matter, because you've got enough wind blowing there at 79 miles per hour that can be tapped to the surface, and you can see that notching once again, and I'll point that out for you here. This little area where you see that green notch right up into there, that's those winds being brought down from aloft down to the surface there, and creating strong straight line winds and even possibly a tornado. A lot of times these strong winds help create a tornado, and you can sort of see what we call a little bit of a line end rotation right there, a little comma head on the top end of this line. So where I have that red arrow, you could be seeing 70 to maybe 80 mile per hour winds. That's the same area there could be a potential tornado, and this is making its way towards Cookeville. So if you're in Cookeville, whether you get a tornado touchdown or not, you're probably going to have some very, very strong damaging winds. Either way, whether they're going in a circle or they're going straight line, they get 60, 80 miles per hour. They can do the same kind of damage that you've already seen back in Nashville. And if you're outdoors when that happens, a lot of people are injured or even killed by falling trees and tree limbs. And of course, if you're driving in a car, you're going to have heavy downpours. You could be blown off the road by the car, or if there's a tornado, even worse. So you want to stay in your home, go into the interior hallway or closet, get away from the windows and doors, get as far away, get as many walls between you and the weather as you can. And if you're in a closet, you can cover yourself up with blankets and coats and whatnot that are in the closet. But Cookeville, once again, it's coming right down I-40 and Highway 70 into the Cookeville area.
I just want to let you, I want to let you know that circulation, too, they're talking about, there's rain wrap circulation near Upperman High School. This is from our Putnam EMA. I just want to let you know that that's actually, they're letting us know that. I'm not sure where Upperman High School is, but they're saying trees and power lines are down in that area. This is just coming in fresh off the wire at about 8:17 here. So this is actually happening. Something is going on here. Whether it is a tornado, whether it is just straight line winds, we need to be taking our tornado precautions, because we're also getting reports of some damage done. So let me just get on here and show you everything and break everything down for you real quick on Max 2 here. Also want to talk about the fact that we're getting a lot of reports coming in, too, of, you know, I just talked about that Smyrna airport as the storm came through there. There's roof damage, hangar damage. Crews are assessing at this time. So we're watching this really, really carefully. But this is the tornado warned storm. Do want to go to Max 2 if we can real fast and show you what is happening on Max 2. Max 2 is going to show me where everything is going to be, and you can see a wide view of everything. Still have that severe thunderstorm warning that's still in effect for about 15 more minutes here, okay, folks? But then I do want to show you this tornado warning, which is now in effect until 8:45. So we just have about a half hour to go. We're getting circulation near Upperman High School. Upperman High School in Putnam County. The Putnam EMA is telling us this. I did put a storm tracker on this. It is moving to the east at 60 miles an hour. It does have with it some very strong winds, up to about 70 mile per hour winds probably, or even stronger than that in some spots. We're also talking about hail, heavy rain, lots of lightning, and all of this is sliding to the east. So again, We could see this in Crawford at about 8:32, so just in about 15 minutes. Clark Range, you're going to see this at about 8:39 or there before, a little bit after, so be sure you're taking your tornado precautions in this area. I do want to zoom down and show you some of the areas here. It looks like rotation pretty close together right here, right over 70 here. This will be moving right directly towards Cookeville. So Cookeville, folks, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. You have only about probably a couple more minutes before all this is sliding over. This road keeps coming in, our newest feeds, that is. Post Oak, Gofton, Brotherton. This is just really, that rotation looks to be just north of Interstate 40 right now on the radar there, if we can see that. But that is what's,
Our friend Tyler Smith at Putnam County EMA, he says that there's damage to a mobile home on Nashville Highway. I assume that's Highway 70 going back towards Nashville, 8285 Nashville Highway, a mobile home damaged in Putnam County. And don't want you to go outside and try to look for this tornado. Let me switch to Max 1 very briefly. We want to go back to radar as much as we can, but we go to Max 1. That's what it looks like outside in Putnam County right now. So if there is a tornado, anything, it's rain wrapped, so just take shelter. Let's go on back to Max 2 now, because we want to stick with radar. I just want to give you a quick view of what it looks like in Putnam County from the Putnam County EMA. And Danielle's pointing out the inbound and outbound winds that are trying to make their way into the Cookeville area. Does it look like it's, well, there may be more than one circulation, but the biggest one looks like it's more in the northern suburbs of the Cookeville area,
right
I guess.
Here.
And I assume that's the warning's probably centered up there anyway. Yeah, it looks like it is.
Yep.
So that's probably the one that they're most concerned about, really going up. What is that highway there? Looking like it's going to be going. Here's Allgood, first of all, right here. And here's North Washington Avenue, the street that runs straight out of north of Cookeville. And Shipley Road, you see these winds. These are the winds that are going towards Nashville. On West 19th, they're going away from Nashville. So that circulation is right there, making its way towards Allgood. And you got both a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning for the Cookeville area. It looks like especially the northern suburbs as you go up Washington Avenue. And we also have Hillham Road that goes up towards Bangham and Gainsborough grade back to the west. So this is moving right on through the northern suburbs of Cookeville. Possible tornado here from, let's say, Cookeville and I-40 northward through the Post Oak community, and eventually that'll make its way over towards Rickman, Brotherton, and Beaver Hill. And Danielle's been doing the tracking there. I'm going to let you take it over and show us a wider view.
Yes, of course. I just want to show everybody what's going on, because we don't want to forget everybody and the folks even south, because a lot of you still waking up, or, you know, if you're awake right now, you've probably been awake because of these storms, but still some stormy activity extends all the way back down towards Waynesboro. You can see a lot of lightning with these storms. Still going to have some gusty winds, even if they're not severe at this point. Also some very heavy rains. All of this energy is headed towards Murfreesboro, which just got hit pretty hard, and at Williamson County, which just got hit pretty hard. Another round coming in for you folks there. And then notice most of these warnings now in our northeastern counties is mainly severe thunderstorm warnings, and mostly going till about 8:45. So we have just about under a half hour left for these, but we do have with these storms some hail, some wind, and we still have that tornado warning also out for areas like the Cookeville region. Do want to zoom in and show you this right here, that tornado warning for Jackson, Overton, and Putnam counties. Here is that cell. You can see it right here, right over Cookeville directly. And I did put a tracker on this one, though. It's a little bit off now. It's probably been a couple minutes. So if you haven't done it yet, Crawford, Mayland, Clark Range, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. Going down to the lowest level, center of the room with no windows, like a bathroom, like a closet, if you have a basement. If you are in a trailer, you do not want to stay in that. We just had reports of a trailer being potentially knocked over. So that is not something we want to do. You want to try to go to a safer shelter. As we go forward into time, though, I do want to show you our velocity product, which would show us exactly where that rotation is. And as Davis was mentioning here, see that tornado warning still lit up, so still continuing that one until 8:45 now, reissuing that. But you can see right in this area, right here, just north of Cookeville near Post Oak, it's riding right over you folks now. Brotherton, you're going to be up next for this, headed towards 84 as well. Davis, you got something going on?
Yeah, well, we're still continuing there. Like you say, they are continuing the tornado warning until 8:45 for the Putnam County area, and they canceled it for Jackson County, which is the Gainsborough community a little further on towards the north. And continue a severe thunderstorm warning, though, for another 7 minutes there for DeKalb, Jackson, Overton, Clay, Putnam, and White County. So it's not just the tornadic part. You can also have strong straight line winds, as you were saying one moment ago. And you've got a storm track to show us.
Yes, I wanted to storm track because, you know, if this is where the circulation is, if this is where the potential tornado could be, we need to put a tracker on that velocity product of where it's going. So, you know, the greens are going to the radar, the reds are going away. When you see them linking up like they are right in this area right here, just north of 70 North, this is headed towards the east and it's racing pretty quickly. So, folks, right now, if you live in Brotherton, you have about just under 5 minutes before it gets to you. You need to take your tornado precautions. Monterey, you're at 8:38, so you just have about 10 minutes or so. So, folks, get down to your safe zone now. Lovejoy, 8:46. Crawford, 8:49. Folks, this is a serious situation. We've had reports of this cell doing a lot of damage as it's come across Middle Tennessee. You need to be taking your tornado precautions in this area. It is racing to the east, does have some pretty good velocity couplet there. I'm watching it. It's intensifying a little bit. You see as the greens get a little brighter, the reds get a little brighter. That's some stronger winds within this cell. So again, that is where the rotation would be. Here's the thing, even if it's happening, even if there is a tornado on the ground, you're not going to be able to see it. It's been rain-wrapped all morning long. We've also had a lot of hail with this storm, so you won't be able to see it. So you need to be taking your tornado precautions in this area. Again, it's just north of Interstate 40, where the rotation is, really north actually of 70 North, and headed towards 111. Then it would be headed towards, I'm not sure what this road is, I think it's 62 here. Just trying to give you some markers here so you know if you're living in this area, if I'm saying something, please take your tornado precautions because this is a serious situation, and as we're watching this, it looks like it's tightening up just a bit, this couplet, as we're looking at it.
Okay, we've been looking at some of the pictures that have been coming in. We'll try to prepare some of those for you in a moment. Of course, the most important thing right now is to try to concentrate on the storms and warn you. Now, that southwestern part of the line, back around Columbia to Waynesboro, it's got some lightning and thunder, as you can see, but no warnings going with that. So if you're down Columbia, you're saying, why aren't you talking about us? Well, it's because you don't have warnings, but you do have some lightning and thunder. There's potential, especially down there around Waynesboro, going back out the highway, that they might get a warning or two as time goes on with those particular storms. And trying to get back towards our NWS chat to see what's some of their newer information there. And
we look like too that cell just over Waynesboro. Just a heads up, even though it's not severe or anything, does have some hail with it too, folks. So you know, just want to prepare for that as well.
Right. So we're going to be continuing to track these storms. Again, that tornado warning still going just east of Cookeville. It looks like the worst of that weather may be just east of the city for now. Hoping that that is the case. But on our NWS chat, some of the latest report back in Portland in Sumner County, they were saying at 7:20 they had power poles snapped. And when they're snapped like that, that means it fell down or pushed over. They're snapped. And tree limbs on houses in Portland on Highway 109. And luckily that was around, that was estimated to be around 7:20 this morning. We've got a live crew ready to report here. What can y'all tell us?
All right, thank you, Davis and Danielle.
Yeah,
just
that's right. We're here in.
Well, hey, Brent. Weather alert coverage continues. Let's check in with Brent. He's in Williamson County, Somerset neighborhood, Brent, and we've seen some significant damage all around this area.
Yeah, just driving around this neighborhood, we saw down trees and whatnot, but the damage we really saw, we actually are talking to a resident here. This is Kate Wright, homeowner here. You've got a lot of damage. Just kind of talk us what it was like going through, hearing that storm come through here.
Gosh, well, my daughter came in this morning and said she saw an alarm on one of the phones, and I said, alarm? What alarm? She said a tornado warning, and it was probably 10 seconds later. It was just out of nowhere. It was so severe, so I grabbed my son out of bed. We ran downstairs, got into the bathroom, and it was so hard and so strong. You knew this wasn't just a storm. I knew there had to be a tornado or funnel cloud or something nearby, and it went by pretty quickly. Quickly meaning maybe about 3 minutes we were in there, but as soon as it blew over, I looked out my back window, and it's incredible how much damage has been done to my house in just a short period of time.
You know, when you came outside, there's a lot of residents outside. You said you were talking to them. What are they saying? You know, what are you seeing out here?
Everyone's a little bit different. A lot of trees down, roof damage. I hear my neighbor, his deck blew away. You can see my awning just was trashed. We have soccer goals all over the place. I think everybody's proper. I think this side of our neighborhood is worse because we think if something did blow through here, it had to be back behind in this green space. because you can see everything blew towards my house. So I think the houses on the other side were less damaged, but I think this side of the neighborhood really took it hard.
Yeah, I want to show some of this damage here, Todd. If we can walk just to show this covered porch here, you can see how strong the winds were. This canvas here top just ripped off, and then you can see the furniture under here completely pushed away. And I want to walk down here too. I want to show this big willow tree here in the backyard. I want to show the roots. Just hang with us here 1 second. It's starting to rain, but you can see this goal post here has been blown down. If you take a look to the neighbor's yard too, you can see a trampoline here. But look how big this tree is. I mean, this is a massive tree. The roots at the bottom, that's what I really want to point out here. Lots of downed fences as well, as I mentioned. Lots of debris from this wind here. Take a look at this, though. It's got to have some strong wind to uproot a tree this large that's been out here for this long. But take a close look in there so we can see that. And then just a wide pan here of kind of the trees and damage that we see out here from the wind. Another patio set off in the distance here, and then some downed trees and fences as well. We're going to be going around the neighborhood here. It is starting to rain a little bit more, but you can see the devastation from these strong winds out here in the Somerset neighborhood. Neil, Don, back to you.
All right, yeah, thank you, Brent. Significant damage in that area we're seeing, and that tree that Brent just showed us, we're seeing that all across our areas, and that's affecting power. We've got power outages, almost 7,000 people without power at this point. We're looking at some video here. Andy Cordan shot this. This is the SunTrust Bank in the, I believe, Franklin area. Andy is on the phone with us. This is off of Mallory Lane, so this is that Cool Springs area, Andy, is that correct, where we're seeing a lot of damage? And this is not just, you know, a thunderstorm damage here. This is pretty bad.
Well, I'm no storm chaser, but I'll tell you, I've done enough of these, and it's all in one direction, which is usually symptomatic of a cell that was possibly tornadic, all pushing in a direction. I sort of tracked it from Cool Springs. I went all the way back to Cool Springs Boulevard and traveled along the periphery of the mall. And, you know, it would be trees down, light poles down, railroad crossing arms down, whatever really was in the way. And, you know, these storms, and if they are tornadic, they hopscotch around. And it looks like they might have knocked down the awning of the bank, not the whole awning, but pulled the debris and the insulation and the loose material from the bank underneath. So obviously that's a lot of suction, a lot of power, and it's a different kind of force because it's pulling it down as opposed to blowing through it. So that is certainly indicative of something other than straight line wind, but I'm no forecaster, as I said. So then I followed the road along the Cool Springs Boulevard and Mallory Lane periphery, and I ended up in a shopping center here, and I'm now in front of the consignment store, and this is some of the worst damage I've seen. It looks like while some windows are left intact, the consignment store windows are blown to smithereens, and it's already been covered with crime tape. My Andy Cordan Channel 2 Facebook page is loaded with my treks this morning. It started at 6:40 or so when the hail started pelting the neighborhood where I live. And the consignment store right now, and I believe the owners or insurance adjusters are out here already. It's kind of sad because the windows are just smashed to bits, and then inside the wall has been moved back a little bit, and then you've got furniture that's sopping wet, and, you know, this is a person's livelihood here. And this is just part of what I've seen. I've driven around and seen all kinds of trees down. Crews are out cutting back some of the demolition and destruction so folks can get through. Yeah, it's been a mess, and, you know, so far, though, I haven't seen, like, any real problems traffic-wise. Folks are going around it, getting to work, doing what they do.
All right, Andy, yeah, and the good news is, you know, you look at the hours on the door of that consignment store, and they didn't open until 10 a.m., so luckily not a whole lot of people were there, nobody inside, because that's what we're concerned with if there are any injuries. We're seeing a lot of hail damage. Go ahead, Andy.
You know what's interesting, Dawn? Well, what's interesting is I was talking to the neighbor next door, and he was trying to get the owner on the phone, and whether the owner knows or not is unknown to me, but the man next door said that he didn't have any damage. And we're talking, you know, a strip mall kind of looking place, and these places share walls, and why the wind or the damage would blow out the glass and basically close this business today and then leave the rest of the structure relatively unscathed, that's certainly, you know, a question. But This wasn't just like damage. If you pinpoint this later, and I know Davis and Danielle may do that, but it sure looks like it had a course, and it just kind of followed that course from what I see.
All right, Andy Cordan there in the Cool Springs area, Cool Springs Galleria off of Mallory Lane. That entire area hit hard by this storm system. Of course, we'll have to wait for the National Weather Service to come out and survey the damage and let us know if, in fact, this would be considered a tornado touchdown. We are seeing poles, power lines, trees down all across our areas. Paige is here, and she's been keeping an eye on really the morning commute for the last couple hours, and now some of the damage that is affecting traffic.
Yeah, so this damage definitely closing some of our major roads right now. I'm going to start in Laverne here. Murfreesboro Pike southbound closed right now, completely blocked with power lines down at Couchville Pike there. And from here, I want to go out to southern Wilson County because Highway 231 Murfreesboro Road here is closed right now with a tree down right at Richmond Shop Road there. So we have several major roads closed right now with damage. Also in the Franklin area, I want to zoom in here and look at some of our secondary roads. You see that slow to medium, that stop and go, definitely because of down power lines, especially here on Hillsborough Pike at Old Hillsborough Road. It's at a complete stop right at that intersection with a down tree. And I heard Danielle mention a report of a car being flipped in the Forest Hills, Belmead area. Looks like that was on Old Hickory Boulevard near Chickering. It looks like it's cleared, but Old Hickory Boulevard and Hillsborough Pike definitely an area to avoid near the Forest Hills, Belmead area where that car flipped. And we have a few other accidents here in the Nashville area, not related to damage, but major things being right now in Laverne, Murfreesboro Pike southbound right at Couchville Pike closed southbound with down power lines. Definitely want to watch out for those areas because we're not sure what's still live. There's dangerous trees down on the roads as well, definitely slowing traffic down. Dawn?
Yeah, and we're talking about down power lines, down trees. At this point, I'm looking at the NES power outage website, and at this point 17,591 people without power. A reminder, you can always check on our News 2 app and watch our newscasts and our live breaking news coverage and all of that through our News 2 app if you do end up losing power. But this is a look here at the NES outage map. Again, 17,000, almost 600 people without power, and you can see how widespread this is. So this damage has caused power outages everywhere from the north, south, east, and west here. Julie Edwards has been listening to some of our damage reports and things that are coming into the newsroom and joins us live now from the alert desk with the latest.
Yeah, hey, Dawn, bottom line, damage reports widespread throughout Middle Tennessee counties. As you mentioned, all those power outages here in Metro Nashville, OEM telling me that they are responding to dozens of reports of downed power lines, and we can see the effect from the map you just showed. One thing I wanted to mention is Rutherford County. We're getting reports of damage at the Smyrna Airport. We have a crew on the way. In Laverne, a semi was blown over on Heel Quaker Road. To Williamson County, obviously we've seen our reports from damages down there. Sunrise Circle in Franklin hit. We saw the bank in Cool Springs, obviously. Widespread damage to homes in that area. In Sumner County, Gallatin Road at New Shackle Island Road, there are several businesses with damage. Roofs have been ripped off. In Wilson County, reports of a possible touchdown of a tornado on South Commerce Road there. By the way, want to mention a few other power outages. Middle Tennessee Electric, 10,000 people without power. That includes Rutherford County, Wilson County. Cumberland Electric, 5,000 people without power. That would include Montgomery County as well as Sumner County. So, Dawn, it's a mess out there. The one piece of good news, we've had no reports of injuries at this time. Back to you.
Yes, and that is the good news. We knew this system was coming. Our weather team has been warning us for a couple of days now. Danielle, we knew this was going to be a significant system.
Yes, we did, and unfortunately the timing isn't great, timing out with that morning rush hour. But I do want to tell you that we still have that tornado warning for Overton and Putnam counties, just so you folks know, and that's until 8:45. So we have about 5 to 10 minutes left on that. Do want to show you something right now because we're beginning a lot of reports coming in. And this line, even though not severe at this point, I do want to tell you that there are some trees down along 48, Highway 48 here. This is from this line, which isn't severe. So that's just showing you the intense winds with this system. So again, some strong winds pulling down some trees, lots of lightning near Hohenwald too. Don't want to forget you folks there, also near Columbia and Spring Hill. But the area of concern right now has changed and moved towards the north and east of our zone here. So we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Cumberland, Ventress, Overton, and Putnam counties. This is until 8:45, but still that tornado warning is looming until 8:45 for this area right in here. So do want to show you our velocity product here, the greens, the reds, when they're getting close together like this. This is where we would see rotation. The rotation right now just has moved over Highway 84 towards the Crawford area. This is a little behind now, obviously, because it's already moved through. It's basically over Beaver Hill right now, but headed towards Crawford, Von Sack. If you live in these areas, even Clark Range, you're pretty close to this. You may just be south of the rotation, headed towards Highway 127, and this is moving really fast. It's moving at about 50 to 60 miles an hour, so a quick moving storm. Still tornado warned. We're not getting any confirmation, but Davis does have some stuff to talk about right now, right, Davis?
Yeah, if we could go to Max 1 for me here, and I've got a few things that I wanted to show you here. First of all, the tornado warning, they're going to go ahead and let that expire over to the east. That's the tornado warning that's in effect for the eastern part of Putnam County, parts of Overton County. They're going to let that expire for us now. So that is at least a little bit of good news. Now, the National Weather Service is saying that they've got a lot of places they're going to survey. They're going to add to this list, but obviously the Cool Springs, Brentwood, and also southeastern Davidson County, Pettus Road area, and up to the Cool Springs, Galleria area. They're obviously going to be surveying that. Hickman County, they're talking about Nunnally area over in Hickman County, and also Belmead area of West Nashville, and Watertown and Wilson County. They think they're going to go survey that area as well. Now, as Danielle was mentioning a moment ago, even though this activity is now just about up on the Cumberland Plateau, and give it another 30 minutes, it'll be really out of the News 2 viewing area. So far, our southern counties have not really had any major warnings. We did have a little wind damage not far from Hohenwald on Highway 48 in Lewis County from these storms that are pushing through Lewis County right now. And they're pushing towards Columbia, coming up the highway, as you can see, from Waynesboro to Hohenwald to Columbia, and actually into Franklin and Williamson County. So some of these storms may intensify a little bit. They haven't been that bad so far. It's that northern part of the line that's moved on towards the east and now making its way towards Jamestown. It's now east of Cookeville. If you're in Cookeville now, you're sort of speaking all clear as far as the taking cover is concerned. You can come out from undercover now in the Cookeville areas. It's gotten east of you, but if you're in Monterey, you're still in the thick of things, and then stretching down to Crossville on the Cumberland Plateau, you're still in the thick of things, and still on the back edge as you go down to Sparta in White County, as you can see. So we're going to be monitoring this southern part of the line around Waynesboro. No warnings on it right now, but some downpours, and this one's sort of doing what we call training right there. So if you're going to get any kind of like localized flooding, the highway that extends out of Columbia back towards the Waynesboro area, back through Hohenwald, you might have a little bit of localized flooding along that particular highway because you can see this moisture sort of training along that area. But I'm giving you a nice wide view of everything, and this is the warned storm. They're about to let this tornado warning expire as it leaves Overton County. They said the circulation sort of broadened out. It's still there. You can see that red next to the green, but it got wider and wider. And the wider it got, the more that they thought that there was the chance that they're just going to let that one expire as it goes over towards Fentress County and not extend it over into Cumberland as well as Fentress counties, at least for now. But you've got possibility of maybe some straight line winds with that storm as well. So let me see if I can go back to the actual warnings that we do still have in place, and I thought I had that on here somewhere. But let's see if we can
Can I just let you know, because you've been analyzing that storm, near the Putnam County area. We did get a report of some storm damage on Thomas Road, West Cookeville. This was about, they said, within like the last 10 to 15 minutes. Definitely some stuff thrown down on the ground there, some metal. There's also another report just coming in. Now, this is from earlier this morning, folks, so we're getting this as it comes in. This is coming in from Clarksville, from a newspaper at 6:30 in the morning that one was injured as a large tree fell on a mobile home on Riley Road. A 12-year-old boy was injured. Other mobile homes and cars were damaged as well. So the estimate on the radar for that would be around 6:30 in the morning. So those are those storms we were just talking about that had just moved through just about 2 hours ago now. now.
Okay, now the storms that have been having the warnings here that are about to expire, still sort of strong, but not as bad looking as they were. But if you're in Crossville right now, Jamestown, you're about to get what's left of these storms, and they still could give you some gusty winds here, but they're allowing that tornado warning to expire at this time. And if you're in Cookeville, as we said, to sort of give you an all clear, you're no longer in a threat of severe weather in the Cookeville area. Still got rain, still got a mess on your hands, but you can get out and relax a little bit. Now, we've been talking about these southern storms, which really haven't had a chance yet to develop any severity to them, and hopefully they don't. But right now, the lightning and thunder extends from just southeast of Franklin along I-65 through Columbia, and then back down the Highway 412 to Hohenwald and to Waynesboro, and also back into Savannah along Highway 64. And as I just mentioned ago, you notice how it's just sort of like following itself. Unlike this part, there was a bow moving 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour east. This line is not moving eastward. It's just sort of following itself, like all that training. So you might have a little bit of localized flooding going back Highway 412 towards Hohenwald. If you have to drive around Hohenwald, even in Columbia right now, you can get some heavy downpours. And from Waynesboro trying to drive northward up towards Lobelville, you got some heavy downpours as well. So you might be able to collect a couple of inches of rain there in a short period of time, and that could become a concern. Danielle, do you have some more?
Yes.
Let's go to Max 2 for Danielle.
Yes, I just want to tell you what's going on, too. We're getting a lot of reports coming in from the damage, and I want to just go over that, too, because this is some areas we're going to be probably assessing. The Weather Service is going to be going out and looking at certain areas because we've been through it. But here are some of the damage reports. This is actually the last 3 hours here, and you see where you see these trees broken down. This is some tree damage, some wind damage, also some wind gust reports. We've had some hail, and this purple box you see here, I do want to point this out. This is Westmoreland, where they said there's been reports that lightning struck a house in Westmoreland. So this is around 7:30 in the morning in Sumner County. So they're looking at that. They're examining that. Also in Dixon, this was just about 2 hours ago now. We had wind gusts up to about 60 to 65 miles an hour. We also had with it half-inch hail. Do want to show you the very latest. The tornado warning is down now for this cell, so that is great news. So right now what we have is a big line of storms. Nothing severe right now, but still very noisy. Lots of lightning with them. And the other thing we do still have is a severe thunderstorm warning. This is from Cumberland, Fentress, Overton, and Putnam counties, and this is until 8:45 in the morning. And now this one has been extended, actually, because now 8:45 is coming up. This is now in effect until 9:30 in the morning. So we're talking about still wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour. We're talking about hail up to a quarter size or even larger. We're also talking about very heavy rains with this and lots of lightning. But at this point, there are no tornado warnings across Middle Tennessee. We just have one severe thunderstorm warning, which is great news as the conditions are weakening, at least for right now. Again, though, we still have a lot to go through. We still have a line of storms over the state, so we're going to watch this very carefully. But right now, we just had that severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30 in the morning. So that's it. We don't have anything else. We don't have the tornado warning anymore, which is great news for those folks there.
It's sort of good news here because this severe thunderstorm warning, this does go till 9:30, and again, you could get some gusty damaging winds with those storms. Let's go, if we could, over to Max 1, because we're still looking down around Columbia, back to Hohenwald, with the possibility of a little localized flooding, but no warnings in effect. Now, we've got reporters that have been running all over Middle Tennessee, getting all the latest videos they can. Dawn Davenport, can you step us through some of the damage reports and what we've been seeing out there?
Yeah, and we saw a lot of damage in the Cool Springs area, David.
Right.
We have video of that here. This is Cool Springs. Andrea Train sent this in for us, and just watching, you can see how strong the winds are and that rain just blowing sideways in that area. How about Brentwood? Check out this damage out in Brentwood. This tree ripped apart. Looks like it was snapped into. The News 2 viewer who sent us this picture tells us that there are several trees just like this that are down in the area. We're not talking small, young trees. These are large, with great root systems and big trunks, trees that have been there a while. You can just see how strong the winds were across that area when we see some of these trees that have been snapped in half. We're also getting a look at some of the damage that these storms are causing all across other areas too. Viewer Kara Bragg Hunt posted this picture. This was damage on Cumberland Valley Road. This is in the McEwen area. She posted this on her Facebook page a couple of hours ago, right after that storm rolled through. Also a picture of a downed tree in a Franklin neighborhood here. Teresa Hallbrooks shared this to our Facebook page as well. If you have any pictures at all, PIX@WKRN.com. That's the email address. You can send it there. You can post it on our Facebook page. We want to see your video as the storm rolled through, what you saw. And we've gotten some really great video from the Cool Springs area. That took a hit earlier, and that's where we find our own Brett Martin there live for us here to talk about some of this damage. And we're seeing bad damage here in the Cool Springs area in front of this strip mall, Brett.
Yeah, that's right, Dawn. We just made our way down here. Earlier we were in Trigg County, Kentucky. We made our way down here, but as I was just scoping through social media, we're seeing reports of heavy damage. Andy Cordan has been here, has been around. Andy, tell me what you're seeing so far.
This started, Brett, about 6:45 when I was getting pelted with hail, right? Then I just started driving down Moore's Lane, and the first thing I hit is a railroad arm over Moore's Lane. I go, oh, man. So then I circle around, and I see Brentwood Fire and police, and they're out there, and they're chopping down trees and clearing out the brush, red lights swirling. So then I do a big circle, and everywhere I go, I start seeing a pattern of, well, this looks like it's come through in just a pretty straight line scenario. I think all morning we've been showing that bank awning. I was over there. I was one of the first on the scene. Pretty much it sucked down the bank awning. So you have all this debris everywhere, right? Then I end up here, and this I feel like is the worst I've seen. You got crime tape up. I've talked to the owner. He's really upset, and basically what you're looking at here, Brent, I'm sorry, I'm acting like I'm reporting.
I know. You're good.
But it's blown in these windows. Rain and wind has just shattered glass all the way 15 feet in, and what the amazing thing here is that this is the only place that got hit. And that's often the way tornadic fury works. The next door guy can open up for business. He can do whatever he wants. And this guy now has got to deal with ServPro. And, he's here just in shock. He's talking, I've been listening to him. He's talking to his wife, and he's talking to his insurance adjusters, and he's got to deal with this. And this is kind of what's happened. So if you go that way, you see damage everywhere. Light poles down, parking lot problems, trees. And if you go that way, it just keeps on keeping on.
Right, you see these paths that are coming through. I've seen pictures along Mallory Station of just trees down. That's what's so scary about these things, is that path, that it's just a path of terror as it's coming through town, right?
And we always make a big deal. Was it tornadic? Was it straight line wind? You think this guy cares? He doesn't care. I mean, whatever this was, he's got to fix this. So they can put whatever they want on the insurance adjuster for him, but something broke his place, and now he's got to deal with it. But by and large, I've driven around, and for the amount of damage I've seen, and I heard Julie say that no injuries I've heard of, and no death, thank God. And you've got stuff like this, and stuff like this can be fixed. And by and large, I was going down major thoroughfares here where the cops and the fire guys, they were doing their job, man. They were out here, and they were clearing stuff, and cars were going, and people are at work right now because of the good work they did. So yeah, it's messy, but by the end of the day, it'll still be messy, but it won't be so bad.
That's right, Andy. This is the start of your day, so you're going to kind of continue to see some of this.
You want to give me all this stuff?
This is the end of our day, but Andy, it's a long road ahead. But again, like you mentioned, no lives lost that we know of so far, no injuries reported. So that's the good news. We'll let you get back through Franklin, trying to find out more damage through here and talk with these guys.
Be good.
Yeah, guys. Again, we saw some damage up in Trigg County. We've seen it all through Montgomery County, Clarksville. So right now, as the storm continues to pass over and the light comes up, we're going to see more damage throughout Middle Tennessee. If you've got any pictures, send them our way. We're live in Cool Springs. Brett Martin, back to you, Dawn.
All right. Yeah, you can put those on our Facebook page, PIX@WKRN.com. Either way works. We would love to see your pictures. We have been talking about possible injuries. We want to go to Julie Edwards live now at our alert desk where she has some information on a possible injury. Julie?
Yeah, we're hearing that a 12-year-old suffered injuries when a tree fell on a trailer. This was in Montgomery County, Riley Road. We're talking about Clarksville specifically. A 12-year-old, again, suffered minor injuries is what we're told, but was taken to the hospital as a precaution. Right now, that's the only injury report that we're hearing, and again, that child should be okay, so that's a bit of good news. Also, I had mentioned earlier Wilson County Emergency Management tweeting about possible tornado touchdown on South Commerce Road. We are hearing that there's a house there with major damage. We have a crew nearly there. So those are the updates, Don. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Julie. And, you know, Nashville Fire Department tweeted earlier this morning, there are a ton of down power lines out there, and you have to stay away from those because you just don't know what's live and what's not at this point. This is a look at the power outages. So this is from NES. So this is just kind of the Davidson County and outside of that area. Where we are now seeing, we were once at 18,000 power outages. It looks like we're down to about 10,358 at this point. So they are getting out there and addressing these as they can. But with some of the trees that were blown down, you know, Davis was mentioning 70, 80 mile per hour winds, even a report of 100 mile per hour wind gusts somewhere. So because of that, you're going to see a lot of trees, significant trees that are down that are causing some power outages. We'll keep an eye on that. But at one point, we probably had 30 to 40,000 people without power across all of our areas. You're just seeing the NES map here, which is about 10,358. Looks like this is actually a different one here. This is Middle Tennessee Electric. Thank you. That's their power outage map here. Can't see the exact number of how many people are out of power there. But yeah, so 7,600 there, yeah. So significant power outages throughout all of our areas because of some of these downed trees. The pictures, Davis, that are coming in and some of the damage and some of these storms are unbelievable. And this one, how about this? This is lightning in Robertson County. Right. Viewer in Cross Plains sent us these pictures, and Davis, we talk about these lightning strikes and how close they can be and how dangerous they can be, and this gives a perfect perspective of that.
Boy, does
That's not that far away.
Yeah, we were worried so much about the winds this morning. Lightning was another factor, no doubt about that, along with those heavy downpours. And got a picture from somebody that was driving in Williamson County this morning. Of course, the first tornado warning we got this morning was in Williamson County, and that's where the Cool Springs area was damaged so much. And if we can go to Max 1 here, I'm at the chroma key wall. Caitlin Deschner sent this picture into our friends at Nash Severe Wicks. They do a great job of keeping up with storm reports and relaying them to the National Weather Service. And they got this picture from Caitlin, and says a friend took this while waiting to pull into Centennial High School in Cool Springs this morning. And if there was a tornado, that's probably where it was. Now, this could be what we call a gustnado also. Our National Weather Service friends are going to be going down there and surveying that for us. And as we've been saying all morning long, Andy repeated as well, does it matter if the winds are going in a circle or if they're going straight, 80, 90 miles an hour? What difference does it make? It can do the same kind of damage, but that's the picture of what was going on just not too far from Centennial High School in the Cool Springs area this morning. Dawn, I'm going to toss it back to you.
All right, yeah, we were talking about the Cool Springs area, the Williamson County area. They're kind of right near where Davidson and Williamson counties come together. That's where we are seeing a lot of damage off of Concord Road. And want to go live to Brent Romana because he is at a home that suffered some damage in that area. This is Williamson County, as I said, Concord Road in the Somerset neighborhood there. Do we have Brent? There we go. Hey, Brent, show us some of the damage that you're seeing in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that earlier interview with the homeowner here. She let us come to the backyard to show that damage. Take a look at this willow tree. She said this was the most impressive tree she's seen here in her backyard, and now it's, ripped up from the wind. You can take a look. It fell on her trampoline here. Her backyard destroyed. Now, I kind of want to walk around here and just show you what this wind did. You can see there's an open field in the back. She said she actually heard her house shaking here this morning when she looked outside after the wind had stopped. This is what she came out to. You can see branches, the downed tree here. Take a look at that from the side. You can just see how big this tree is here. And then we're going to walk up here. Watch out, Todd. There's a branch here. I got to guide him through. It's like a minefield out here, Don. You take a look off to the left, you can actually see the neighbor's trampoline completely blown over here, and then these goalposts. Todd, I want to walk up here and show. This is a metal goalpost. This is pretty heavy here, and you can see the wind just blew it on the fence line. And then I want to walk up just to the covered area here. where they used to sit outside. There was furniture and whatnot. This wind ripped the canvas off the top here. You can also see that her fan up there has been broken up. The side of her house also shingles on the side. Also turning into Somerset here this morning. The power looked to be out. The traffic lights in the area here not working. So if you are in this area here, take precautions, take it slow. Make sure you stop at these lights because they are out in the area. Just another look here though, as residents all across the neighborhood coming outside and learning about the damage here this morning. Lots of trees, like I mentioned, down. So take it easy here this morning. We're going to work to find out more updates. We'll keep you updated here on News 2. Don, back to you.
All right, Brent Romano there live for us in Williamson County. A lot of pictures coming in from that area off of Concord where the wind was obviously strong enough to uproot some of those trees that have been there forever. Want to show you this video. Thank you to Brandon Green for sending this in. This is the Cool Springs Galleria area as the storm blew through. And this is really where we've seen the most amount of damage so far, at least, is in that Cool Springs area. That's where Brett Martin and Andy Cordan were for us. So this is right when the storm blew through there and caused all of that damage, possible tornado here in Cool Springs. How about this? The Inglewood area, yet another picture of a downed tree over there. Laura Hassler sent that in to us. If you have any pictures or video you want to send in, it's pix@WKRN.com. We definitely want your pictures so that we can show people the damage that this storm caused and what areas were hit the hardest. We do have some video out of Smyrna as well. Let's listen to this just a little bit. This is hail. We got pictures out of Lyles, Tennessee, of quarter-sized hail this morning, and Danielle, that's something that a lot of people don't realize was a big part of this storm, and that's how they knew that it was right on top of them once that hail started coming in.
You started hearing that. You're in the hail core, and that Smyrna area, you know, got hit pretty hard. The actual airport, they evacuated the tower because of 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts there, and they had damage to the hangars there. So they're going to go out and look at that, too. They're assessing the damage at this point. So that's one area that got hit pretty hard. Do want to show you, even though we don't have any tornado warnings right now, we do have a few things out there. It looks like now a flood warning coming up into Kentucky, but a line of thunderstorms still out for our area. We have one area that is severe at this point, and this is right here. It's for Cumberland, Fentress, Overton, and Putnam counties until 9:30. And all of this is headed to the north and east at about 40 miles an hour, excuse me. So here's what's going to happen as we go through the next couple of hours here. I do want to show you where some storms are right now. You can see more down towards Murfreesboro, down to Spring Hill, down to Columbia here. You're seeing some storms, a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, some hail with these too. And I did actually want to show you a heavier line here. This is right over Hohenwald. Hohenwald, you're in the thick of some things right now. Notice some intense purples coming out there on the radar near Waynesboro and just now east of Savannah. And do want to show you these hail cores, probably at least at a quarter size, maybe even a little larger here with this hail. This hail's pretty large here. At least that's what our hail tracker's trying to show around the Hohenwald and Waynesboro area. So again, we have that severe thunderstorm warning. That's not till 8:45. It's actually till 9:30. But we have that severe thunderstorm warning, and we also have flood warnings now pushing into parts of Kentucky. Davis, you have some stuff on the damage, I believe?
Yeah, we'll start off. If we can go over to Max 1 right now, we'll put things into motion for you on Max 1. And then we'll zoom in and show you some of these damage reports around the area. And you can see that line of storms Danielle was talking about. We don't have any of those active warnings down to the south, but some of those storms are maybe intensifying. And again, I worry about a little flooding around from Columbia back through Hohenwald back to Waynesboro. It just keeps training along that highway there. Now, let's talk about these damage reports that have been, some of the storms that have been going on. All the little icons that you see right there where we had some sort of damage. And we've been telling you that's one reason we track so much in the northern part of Middle Tennessee. Some of our friends to the south say, why don't you track for us? Well, all the damage was going on and all the warnings were to the north. And you've heard about a lot of them. One of the ones was a house that was struck by lightning. This is going to be up in parts of Sumner County. And it's saying that it was in the Westmoreland area of Sumner County. Emergency Management reports lightning struck a house in Westmoreland, and they estimated that time at 7:30 by the radar and what it was showing at that time. Some of the other storm reports we've seen, one of the ones in Wilson County, right along the Wilson and Sumner County line, are really down in Green Hill area of Mount Juliet. Facebook reported trees down near Lakeview Elementary at Vanderbilt Road, and that's just across the Davidson County line from some of the storm damage in the Wilson County area, and even in downtown Nashville. As you can see, we had a little bit of storm damage. We'll show you this particular one. This is a Facebook post, damage to a house or a building, and on Morningside Drive, and that was right near the the heart of Davidson County. And of course, some of the biggest damage we were hearing about was down around Cool Springs, and pictures of damage to Service Clean in Brentwood, large metal doors blown in the Brentwood area. So there were lots of damage reports. Let's go up to Robertson County around the Springfield area. Emergency Management reports trees down across the county and Robertson County, and no reports of structural damage, but a lot of trees down in Robertson County as well. So all the little areas where you're seeing these little broken tree icons are where you had some wind damage. Fairview out in western parts of Williamson County also had some damage. We'll go near Fairview here. Let me see if I can click on that one for you. And in the Fairview area, we're looking at a web spotter report of fence blown apart and trees down in the Fairview area of Williamson County. Also, some of the wind gusts that were reported back around Dixon, right near the Dixon County line there to the west. They measured a wind gust of 60 to 65 miles per hour, and they had half-inch hail near the Dixon area. And then, of course, it was a thunderstorm wind gust that came in with that particular storm. So we had quite a few storm reports, and these are still you're going to see a lot more of these little icons begin to fill up the screen as people send in their reports, and the National Weather Service gets more and more reports of what's going on, what has gone on throughout the day. Luckily, things are somewhat winding down. I'm going to go back to our wider view of the radar scope, and we'll once again show you some of the areas that are still getting some storms. There's all the storm reports across most of the northern part of Middle Tennessee, but still concerned about a little bit of localized flooding everywhere from the Murfreesboro area up to down to Columbia, as well as the Hohenwald area. We're going to throw it back to Dawn with some more storm reports. Dawn?
All right, thank you, Davis. Yeah, it is 9:04, and we are just seeing some devastation out here in Antioch area. This is Four Corners Marina. Jason Stewart sent this picture in, and you can see these docks are just collapsed and destroyed. One of my buddies, Carl, is out there, and he said that the docks are all destroyed, but that people that live out there are okay. So as of right now, it seems like we don't have reports of injuries here at Four Corners Marina in Antioch, but this gives you an idea of how strong those winds were, of how this system came in and just destroyed all of the docks out there. I've got some other pictures. I'll try and get those on the air here that Carl sent to me, so we'll try and see those. It's from inside the dock as well. But thanks to Jason for sending that in, and hopefully everybody out there in Antioch at Four Corners Marina is okay. Paige?
Yeah, so the drive-in from 65 northbound, this is going to be from 440 right here on to the South Loop. If we can pull this live picture up here in full, 65 at Wedgwood there, we have a car that's run off of the road and into that embankment there. It looks like the driver is okay because it just turned it and is hopefully going to get it back onto the shoulder so it can get towed out of the way. But just a heads up, if you're headed 65 northbound, your slow spot is going to be from 440, just past 440, really near in the 100 Oaks area there, on to the South Loop. Back to Traffic Tracker, because I want to go out to Laverne, because we still have Murfreesboro Pike southbound still closed right now with down power lines at Couchville Pike. This is going to be on the Davidson County, Rutherford County line there in Laverne. So closed southbound Murfreesboro Pike at Couchville Pike. And southern Wilson County still have a closure here on Murfreesboro Road. This is Highway 231 right at Richmond Shop Road. I know there is a down tree there in southern Wilson County. Closed Murfreesboro Road, Highway 231 at Richmond Shop Road. So those are our major arteries that are closed or blocked right now with storm damage. We've got lots of power lines down. We want to stay away from these areas as these crews crews are working really hard to clear these trees and these power lines out of the way so we can get traffic moving. Dawn?
All right. Thank you, Paige. Yeah, you talk about power. NES now has 10,591 customers affected without power, and that is just NES. So there are several other areas out there which are also affected because of down trees and down power lines. Want to check in with Julie Edwards. She's monitoring all this information that's coming in here into the newsroom and breaking it all down, bringing you the most important of all of this. Julie, what do you have?
Yeah, hey Don, so we're hearing that at DuPont Hadley Middle School, that's in Old Hickory, the principal is telling us that straight line winds there have damaged the back of the school building, describing it as a mess. So the kids have been moved into the gym at the school as a precaution. Apparently there is also a smell of gas right now in the area that's being checked out, but again, DuPont Hadley Middle School, the kids have been moved into the gym as a precaution because of damage to the school building. We'll keep monitoring this, and we do have a crew on the way. Don, back to you.
Okay, a reminder too, if you have pictures, if you have video of some of this storm damage, once you get to where you're going, send it to pix@WKRN.com. That's our file that we only take storm pictures and damage and video there. And then you can also post it on our Facebook page, WKRN-TV. We want to see some of the damage in your area so we can get out there, make sure everybody is okay, and let everybody know where this storm system really affected people. Now, the Cool Springs area, we know from all of your video and your pictures, took a hit earlier. Brett Martin is there. He's been live for us all morning long from outside of a strip mall area, and significant damage is what we're seeing here. No windows and no wall left.
Yeah, that's right. Don, you can just take a look at it. The damage is done here for this at this consignment store. Now, this was the only store damage in the strip mall, but look at it, just the impact of the winds, of the tornado, of whatever it may have been, has left this impact on this store. You can see these aren't flimsy windows or doors. These doors have been completely knocked over. There has been glass thrown throughout the store. You can see the owner and some other folks here cleaning up. So it's things like this that are being, or we're seeing all over the area right here. But this one you can see hits very, very hard. We're going to continue to work our way around the Cool Springs area and try to find more damage like this. We know that a bank not too far from here was also in the line, the path of the storm. So again, a lot of folks waking up to damage like this, and now the cleanup begins now that the storm has passed. So like Don mentioned, if you have any pictures or anything that you can send our way so we can get out there, first off, make sure you're safe, but then we want to see them. Back to you, Don.
Yeah, a lot of pictures coming in now. Thank you, Brett. Andy Cordan had video of that area as well. We have some other pictures for you. Strong winds just uprooting not small trees that we're seeing here. We're seeing very large, older trees with intricate root systems here, and this shows you how strong those winds were when they came through. This is Mallory Station Road in Franklin. Camille Schlepp sent that one in for us. Some more storm damage, Highway 12 South in Ashland City. We are seeing storm damage there. Look at that. Fence, trees come down, roofs blown off. A lot of that is what we're seeing. Obviously, fences damaged here. If you do have pictures, PIX@WKRN.com. Danielle, you guys have been getting a lot of emails, a lot of pictures of storm damage, and some hail that has come through.
Hail, wind damage, you name it. We've seen lightning. We've heard of some lightning sparking fires at houses. There's a lot going on this morning, so we want to break it all down for you real fast here and show you. Most of our weather is not severe at this point. However, there's still a line of storms really just south of Nashville over Murfreesboro, down to Columbia, down to Waynesboro, all the way back towards Jackson, Tennessee. But there is a severe thunderstorm still out for Cumberland, Fentress, Overton, and Pickett counties. This is until 9:30 this morning. So again, this one will be expiring in the next 20 minutes before it pushes off out of our viewing area. Another thing that's up here, not necessarily for our viewing area, but I do want to show you that there's a flood advisory. With some of these storms, as they continue to go over the same areas, we could potentially see some flood advisories, flood warnings being issued, so we're going to watch that very carefully. Right now, notice heavier rains just south of Nashville, some thunderstorm activity right over Murfreesboro, right near the Unionville area. You're going to get hit with some. Spring Hill, Columbia getting some good heavier rain bands and some lightning and some thunder. and lots of actually lightning with these storms. Some near Waynesboro right now, near Hohenwald too. And I do want to tell you that some of these cells here do have some hail with it. Doesn't look like the hail is below severe limits, so below a quarter size, but still some hail can't be ruled out near Hohenwald, near Waynesboro, and all that would be headed towards, you know, I-65 within the next half hour to hour. Now, nothing is severe at this point, and then the whole process becomes looking at all the damage that has already been done by some of these storms. And just so you know, this is our storm reports map, and this is over the last 6 hours. This is just the last 3 hours. And you can see a lot of tree damage, a lot of wind damage being reported. We've had wind gusts in excess of 60 to upwards of 80 miles an hour in some spots. We've had some lightning reports being sent in too, and we're going to continue to look for more of this. So if you can, please tweet, Facebook us what you're seeing. Just do it safely. That's all I ask of you. But right now, no tornado warnings and just that severe thunderstorm warning that will be coming down at 9:30. Dawn, over to you.
All right. Now, this started about 5:30 this morning is when we started getting reports in our viewing area of this storm blowing through. A lot of power lines are down because of the winds Danielle just mentioned. So keep that in mind. You don't know if they're live or not at this point. So a lot of our emergency management agencies are reminding people to stay away from those power lines that are down because they can be extremely dangerous. We're seeing damage from several different areas here in Middle Tennessee, and one of the most significant areas is Four Corners Marina. This is in the Antioch area, and Julie Edwards has some new pictures that came in from our alert desk.
Yeah, that's right. This is on Laverne Couchville Pike, and want to go ahead and show you the pictures. We showed you this one a little bit earlier. You can just see tremendous amounts of damage there to those boats just sort of flipped on their side. And I believe we've got a couple pictures from Carl Heineman that we're going to show in just a moment. But you can see it looks like just hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage. Yeah, look at all that damage. It's just hard to even make out that those are boats. Looks like perhaps the structure that was covering them has collapsed on top. Yeah, and there you can see just tremendous amounts of damage to the boats. You got to think that the wind just swept through and did all that. So, Dawn, we're going to keep following this. We do have a crew on the way there, but no one, by the way, is answering the phone at Four Corners Marina. That's what we know right now. Back to you.
Yeah, we do know they're probably a little busy right now with the damage out there. I did chat with Carl, who took those pictures in that area, and he said that people out there are okay. The people that live out there are okay. So no reports of any injuries in the Four Corners Marina area. That's the good news. Obviously, it's going to be take some time to clean up that damage and see how much that damage is really going to cost in that area. I want to show you some other video and pictures of things that are going on. Look at this. I mean, this is clouds. These are clouds moving into the Rutherford County and the Eagleville area. Marissa Tomlinson sent this in. I actually want to see if I can't bring Davis in for this because this is a fascinating video. It almost looks like it's in, you know, fast speed here.
And I don't think it is. I really believe that that's actual real time because we were watching this stuff move in at 60, even 70 miles per hour. The Weather Service was reporting the movement of the storm. So just the storm moving that fast could create enough wind along with those jets coming in behind it. Incredible video. Yeah, I don't think that's time-lapse. I think that's actually how fast the clouds are moving.
Yeah,
that's why the wind was so hard.
We continue to see, you know, video and pictures that come in that you just sit in awe of what Mother Nature can do here. Here's some more down trees. This is in the Brentwood area. That was another area that was hit pretty hard. Brentwood, Cool Springs area, along with that Four Corners Marina there. Gordon Petty Drive is what we're looking at. Jeff Wolf sent this picture in for us from Gordon Petty Drive. How about Franklin? We have a large and very old tree that fell on a house. This is in the Monticello subdivision. Bruce and Susan Lohman sent this in here. So, you know what, I want to jump on the phone real quick. Franklin Police, speaking of Franklin, we have Lieutenant Charlie Warner on the phone with us to kind of talk about some of the damage. Lieutenant, you with us?
Hi, Dawn. Good morning.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you are super busy right now as you assess the damage out in Franklin. What are you seeing?
We've got teams working across the city from several departments. Cool Springs was obviously the hardest hit area. We've got currently about 6 locations that are impacted by trees down in the roadway. We've got power lines down in various areas throughout the city, and amazingly, we've only got about 208 people in Franklin without power at the current time.
Oh, wow, that is surprising. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would just want to let our viewers know while you're talking, I'm going to let you finish here, but that video that we were showing was actually the storm as it moved through the Cool Springs area, because you were mentioning some of the damage there. It seems to be the hardest hit area. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, it does. We've got some damage across the city in some other areas as well, including like the Mac Hatcher corridor and the Hillsborough Road corridor. But Cool Springs seems to be the worst. There we are seeing several homes and buildings that sustained some structural damage. We've got debris and traffic signals down across that Cool Springs area. Some of the roadways are actually impassable, and they're being blocked by emergency vehicles. The nice thing about all of this is that despite all of the damage that you're showing people, there have been no reported injuries. So we're thankful for that.
Of the day, that is the most important and honestly the main thing we care about, the only thing we care about here. So that's the good news. Lieutenant, any advice for people that a lot of people, you know, made their morning commute, didn't leave until an hour or 2 hours later than they normally do to try to miss the storms as they came in. So any advice to those that maybe are just now heading out and are heading to work?
I think that they have to really anticipate some delays. You know, we've got a lot of traffic signals that are either not functioning or have been severely damaged or knocked over. And so you've got some intersections that are going to back up, and the more people that get on the road, you know, that's going to compound the problem. So if you don't absolutely have to be anywhere, then just wait. And we definitely don't want people to get out and kind of sightsee. I know that's the inclination. People want to get out and assess the damage for themselves. We'll keep sending pictures from our officers and our emergency crews that are out in the field, so we can show those to residents and viewers. But the more people that are on the roadways, the harder it is for our workers to get out and kind of clean things back up and get things back to normal.
Absolutely a great point. Franklin Police here, Lieutenant Charlie Warner. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dawn.
All right, stay safe out there as they work to clean up. As you heard him say, about 208 people in the Franklin area without power. He said he was surprised by that because they have so many roads that are impassable right now, so many lights that are out, and that's causing issues on some of those roadways. If you are headed in the Franklin area, specifically the Cool Springs area, about 208 people without power in that area as they work to clear those roadways and get rid of some of those trees that are down. We want to check in with Julie Edwards. She is taking in all the information as it comes into the newsroom, and you have some info this morning about Dickson County, is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Don. So Creekwood High School in Dickson County has sustained some damage. We just got off the phone with School Superintendent Danny Weeks, who tells us that roof damage to the school has impacted 5 or 6 classrooms, and so students have been moved to other parts of the building away from that damage. Water pipes have also busted in the school, so roof damage, pipe damage, and again, the kids are being moved to safe areas. Again, that's Creekwood High School in Charlotte, which is in Dickson County. Don, we also got an update from the Smyrna Airport. We had heard about damage there. Airport Director John Black telling us that the rubber membrane, like on top of the airport hangar, actually peeled back, but no other damage beyond that. Apparently, they clocked winds there at the Smyrna Airport of 80 miles per hour. Dawn, back to you.
Tell you what, we are seeing the effects of the 70, 80, 90 mile per hour winds there. Thank you, Julie Edwards from the Alert Desk. Let's check in with Davis. Davis, you know, we were talking about some of those big, large trees. You can see the root systems, and you just wonder how that happens, how that's able to happen for some of those trees.
These winds are very, very strong. Some of the root systems weren't too deep, and that doesn't help. But Cool Springs, as we said, one of the hardest hit. This was a lumber warehouse, and yeah, it had some sheet metal. It wasn't a big construction as far as the strength of the walls and roof are concerned, but you can see how much damage and lumber thrown all over the place. And this was via Will Clary and Sarah Friggin in the Moores Lane, of course, Cool Springs area, which is one of the hardest hit areas. This was Curtis Branch heading towards Old Hickory Lake. Samantha Bush sent this picture. Dawn, you're talking about the large trees, obviously right on across the roadway, not allowing this car to get by, probably an emergency vehicle anyway, and he'll be out there with a chainsaw probably clearing that road shortly. But we still have a few storms on radar right now, and Danielle Breeze is going to give us a weather update because some of you folks down to our south and southwest are still getting some lightning and thunder and some heavy downpours. Here's Danielle.
All right, and if we can go to Max 2 real quick, I want to show you that, first of all, that tornado watch, a lot of it has been dropped off for most of Middle Tennessee, still holding on to a few counties you can see here that are under that tornado watch until 10 o'clock. So we're talking about that because we're watching a line of storms right now. Right now, nothing really severe in our viewing area. In fact, let me show you this on Storm Tracker radar. You notice that the severe thunderstorm warnings are well out to the east now. They're moving towards actually Knoxville, so they're really out of our viewing area now. And we also have flood advisories up to the north over in Kentucky out of our viewing area. But the reason I'm showing you this is because this line of showers and thunderstorms is, moving over the same area, so there potentially could be some flood advisories or flood warnings that could get issued over the next couple of hours. Now, here's the story right now. Nothing severe in our viewing area. However, we still have some heavy storms just south of Cookeville, right over Smithville, moving towards 70 south here towards Doyle. Woodbury seeing some. Watertown, you're getting some good showers and thunderstorms. Notice a lot of lightning near Murfreesboro right now, so you're seeing some, and Christiana seeing some too. One about to move towards the Unionville area, Shelbyville, Lewisburg. Don't worry, you're up next for some of these storms. Nothing severe at this point, and a few more just down to the south here over Columbia. Some heavier storm activity, and some still building even back farther to the west. So we're watching this near Waynesboro, say, near Hohenwald, just south. Collinwood, you're going to be up next for some of these storms. Again, within any of these cells, still could have some gusty winds, still could have some heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and even some small hail. This one back here moving towards Savannah now has a ton of lightning with it too. So we're watching a few cells down here that are not severe at this point, but still look very strong on radar and impressive. Still have a little bit of hail too with them right over the Waynesboro area, and we still have a little bit of hail just south of Columbia. So all that would be moving towards Lawrenceburg, Pulaski, that storm system. So you can expect some hail with that and some gusty winds. And then the big story after all these storms move out, which they should do so within the next couple of hours, then it's all about the cleanup, because we have numerous storm reports coming in, a lot of wind damage, very strong winds. At one point, wind gusts were close to 80 miles an hour in some spots. So that can do a lot of damage, whether it was a tornado that did it or straight line winds. That is the very latest. Dawn, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Danielle. She mentioned those 80-mile-per-hour winds, and something that was very strong hit this bank. This is in the Franklin area. Jerry Barler is there. You're looking at his live picture as he's sitting in his car from the outside of the bank. So, Jerry, tell me first exactly where you are in the Cool Springs area.
Yeah, we're at the SunTrust Bank on Mallory Lane here, just off of the main just off of right here on Mallory Lane, excuse me. And it appears, the roof is actually intact. It has a metal roof, but all the insulation and roofing that was up under this cover here where the drive-through windows are has just collapsed in, debris blown all around through the parking lots into trees out on the Mallory Lane itself. So quite a big gust of wind must have just come up underneath it and then just blew it out. But the roof is intact on top. It did peel some of the siding away on the side of it, but the metal roof is still there on the top from the best we can see from our vantage point. Literally just pulled up in time to be able to show you this live picture. So we're going to try to get out and take a closer look and see how much more damage, if any, is done. But quite a bit of trees down along Mallory Lane as well. Saw several crews here trying to work to clean that up.
Jerry Barler. Hey, Jerry, quick question for you, and then I want to go ahead and get to a phoner. But quick question, as you headed out there, what was the damage that you saw kind of on your way to that area? Widespread?
Very widespread. Concord Road, numerous trees down right around Crockett Springs and Beech Grove, and then along the interstate I-65 there where the storm blew across the mall. It blew a lot of debris on the interstates all the way across the interstate into the fence areas, blew some highway signs down there along the exit ramps that show you where the restaurants and hotels are. So quite widespread along throughout this area, Cool Springs, from Concord Road all the way up here to the mall.
Yeah, okay, and that actually affected the morning commute there. There wasn't an accident. There was debris on the road that people had to stop and slow down for. So throughout the day, we'll find out a lot of these other areas that were hit pretty hard. Jerry Barler there live for us in Cool Springs. Thank you, Jer. Want to jump on the phone here. Nashville Electric Service spokesperson Holden Sheriff joins us now live. We have been watching, Holden, thank you so much for joining us, but we've been watching all these trees and these power lines that are down, and I know you guys are working so hard at this point to get things back to normal. Where do you guys stand as far as power outages right now?
Right now, Don, we have 10,644 customers without power. and that is with 12 broken poles and over 60 downed wires.
Over 60 downed wires is what you're dealing with. Wow. Is a lot of this focused in a certain area, or are you really just seeing it all over?
It is scattered all across our service territory.
For those that don't have power, we ask you this every time, but what is the easiest way for them to let you know that they are affected?
Customers will need to call in and report their outage to 615-234-0000.
Okay, so there you heard it. 615-234-0000 is the easiest way to go ahead and let NES know that you do not have power in there. Holden, I know it's hard to put a timetable on it because it is so widespread, but what are you seeing as far as getting power back on, getting some of these power lines cleaned up? You know, what can you tell people out there from a time standpoint?
Well, with so many broken poles and downed wires, it will take some time. For instance, along Davison Road, we have a wire down. In the Hurricane Creek and Laverne areas, we have 3 broken poles. Cane Ridge, 2 broken poles. In River Road, we have 3 spans of wire down, along with a broken cross arm. So we have a lot of damage across our service area right now.
Okay, NES spokesperson Holden Sheriff joining us live. Thank you so much for taking time to chat because I know how busy you guys are, Holden.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you heard her about over 10,000 people affected without power there in just the NES area. And we can see why, because some of these down power lines, but it's a good reminder. Be safe and stay away from those power lines because you don't know if they're live or not. So we talk about safety.
Right.
You guys have put this together. It's, you know, you almost wish we had it on today.
Today for everybody coming in. You know, they could have used a preview.
Yes, but this is tomorrow. It's Family Safety Day. Our Storm Tracker team has put this together. We look at ways to stay safe in storms, and we do it in every newscast. So that would start at tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. Join us because we'll have some stories there all throughout our morning newscast as well. And then Saturday at 6 o'clock. You guys tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, we're going to have a Family Safety Day special. You know, we're going to talk about life-saving information about what to do in storms. We're going to talk about what to do whether you're at your house, whether you're at your, you know, at a public place like the mall, like a sporting event, and also what to do for kids at school. It's all good stuff, and what to have in your safety kit. We just want to keep you prepared and safe and out ahead of that storm.
Some good reminders, too, especially this morning. I had people saying, okay, remind me what's the difference between a warning or a tornado watch.
Right,
and,
yes.
you know, small things
simple,
like that. It seems simple, but I forget sometimes.
It's so important.
It is very important. Well, thank you guys. Wonderful job covering this storm. News 2 at 11 will have all the coverage of damage and things that we're seeing out there. Also, WKRN.com. There are list and list and list of some of the stories that we covered throughout the morning, some of the storm coverage, and then also the News 2 app. Don't forget to download that. You can send in your pictures of storm damage that way as well. So thank you guys for keeping everybody safe, and thank you guys for hanging with us. We're going to join Kelly in progress.